attention! We're starting now! Go!
What is up, everybody? Welcome here to Pop Culture Philosophers. Welcome, in fact, to Rockin Robbie Live. I am your host, Rockin Robbie Billups. How is everybody doing? Station, pop, pop, boom. Oh, and by the way, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. If you are a father, I hope you had a wonderful day. I hope that your kids, I hope that your partners, I hope they all made an effort to make this the best Father's Day yet. Me, personally, I had a great Father's Day. I woke up this morning, I got to sleep in a little bit, and both of my cats had made me breakfast in bed. Unfortunately, it was cat food vomited back up onto the floor, and I had to clean it up. So there you go. It was awesome. No, I'm just kidding. My cats didn't throw up this morning, and they also did not give me breakfast in bed. In fact, my cats were not there when I woke up this morning. It's like they didn't even know it was Father's Day. Anyway, how is everybody doing? Welcome into the show. I hope you had a great weekend. I've had a great weekend and very excited to be here tonight for Rockin Robbie Live. We got a great show planned, including diving back into Marvel in the 90s. We'll be delivering the DC sneak peek, and we will be fully revealing the Action Fest 2025 lineup. That's right, it's me, and we got Fable from One Collection Down added to the program. That's right, we got a second channel joining us for Action Fest this year, so it's going to make the Action Fest double the size that it would have been if Fable hadn't joined in, because it would have just been 4 shows, and now it's 8. We'll be revealing all of that tonight. Anyway, how is everybody doing? I just want to say real quick, you should follow Pop Culture Philosophers on Facebook and on Instagram. If you're on Facebook, join the PCP Army. That's the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. You can follow me on Twitter/X over at the Rockin Robbie. You can check out podcasts and more at popculturephilosophers.com. You can tip us over at CashApp, over at PayPal, or just with the Super Chat, or you can join over at patreon.com/PCP, like these fine PCP patrons right there. Y'all, we are 2 weeks away from the grand 10th anniversary celebration. That's right. July 1st, 2015 is the initial start date, the birthday of Pop Culture Philosophers. July 1st this year is a Tuesday, so we won't be able to do anything on that Tuesday, but the following Wednesday, July 2nd, be here. It would be a Wednesday night. Be here for a giant 10th anniversary extravaganza. Who's all going to be here? I don't know, because I just kind of came up with it today. I knew it was on the horizon, And I was doing my June-July calendar today, and I realized, man, it's time to do this 10th anniversary live stream, getting close, you know. One of my favorite things I like to do is get on my Facebook page and go through my old memories to see where I was and how hopefully I've got a better life now. But it's really interesting seeing all these teases I was throwing out there in June of 2015. I kept making random posts about PCP changed my life. It can change yours too. Are you down with PCP? Everybody thought I was getting into angel dust, y'all. But nope, we were in the midst of planning the reveal of Pop Culture Philosophers. It's been a great 10 years, y'all. And I really have, I don't know, looking back on the 10 years, it's pretty freaking crazy to have been on this platform for so long, to have garnered, we're almost at 5 million views. You know, we're a small channel. We haven't even hit 25,000 subscribers yet, right? But the community that we have here, that we've developed together, me and you, and of course everybody in the Excitable PCP crew, this community is the best. We're absolutely fantastic. We've had some great times together. We've had some low times together, but we've had some great times together. Low times, talking about almost killing myself with the one chip challenge. That was pretty crazy. How was the one chip challenge more devastating to me than eating a Carolina Reaper? Both of those videos are still on this channel. Go watch them. It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, the Carolina Reaper wasn't super fun. I mean, it was fun, but it wasn't really fun. But it was. But that one chip challenge blew the hell out of me. So start thinking about your favorite PCP moments over the last 10 years, and we're going to gather together on July 2nd, Wednesday night, for the 10th anniversary extravaganza. Anyway, we got a great show planned for you tonight, but coming up tomorrow, we are continuing Crew's Choice over at PCP Movie Night, and we're talking about John Spillio's pick, The Adventures of Ford Fairlane, starring Andrew Dice Clay. This movie's pretty much impossible to find, so you're going to have to go out there on the high seas and figure it out for yourself, just like we did. Not even my homie at the video store had a copy of this movie, but it's not streaming anywhere. It's not available to rent, not available to download, so do what you can to watch this movie, because that's what we've had to do. But tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central Time, John Spiliotopoulos' pick, The Adventures of Ford Fairlane. All right. We also had some really cool stuff this last week. We had Christopher Priest on the channel for the very first time. I got to meet Christopher Priest a few years ago at Memphis Comic Expo. He was a super cool dude. I've been a fan of his for a long time, in particular his Black Panther run. We had a great conversation about Black Panther, about Marvel Knights, even touching a little bit on the Marvel Knights, The World to Come, and of course his upcoming Red Sonja reimagining called Sonja Reborn, and the setup and concept for that story seems really cool. So definitely check out the Christopher Priest show if you haven't already. That was fun. Also on Friday, it was Friday the 13th. I was over celebrating the national holiday of Friday the 13th with my boy Verno and Steph and Wes over at Blood Splatter Chatter. Every Friday the 13th, we talk about another Friday the 13th movie, and this month, or this time, it was Friday the 13th, the final chapter. He always likes to throw in some trivia, Verno does, and for the first time, I lost the trivia contest. I made a major terrible botch and couldn't pick out the Jaws music, y'all, by John Williams. How freaking crazy. I was so embarrassed. So I did not win. Alas, I had a lot of fun. Wes won. Steph was close. It's always fun hanging with those guys over at Blood Splatter Chatter talking about horror movies. That's right. We got in a couple of Sundays, another Masters of Horror show over at Blood Splatter Chatter. I believe like 1 or 1:30 p.m. Central Time. We'll be talking about the next 2 episodes of Masters of Horror, which is one of my favorite TV shows of all time. So, heck yeah. All right. Let's take a look at the chat, see who's here, see what's going on, everybody. We got GT Key Comic in the house. Spamming the chat first thing. He's trying to get that #1 ranking, y'all. That's what he's trying to do. All right, Decima12 is here. What is up? Big Herm. What's up, Big Herm? How you doing, my man? Two Gun Pedro is in the house. Pew Pew. Good to see you, my man. Cantonese Comic Kid is in the house. Derek is in the house. Southside Ronin with love from Chicago to all fathers. Station. I myself am not a father. I am a cat dad, but I'm not a human dad. Does that make sense? All is well here, Decima. We got 90s arcade in the house. What is up, Station? Oh, from over the pond, it's Mark. It's Mark from Geeks Unleashed. Cheers, mate. I don't know why I always do that when I see you here. What's up, Weird Dopes Podcast? Pop, pop, boom. Got a pop, pop, boom from Eddie Von B as well. Hey, Chaos. What's up? Chaos and Comics is in the house. Chaos, long time no see, man. How you been doing, man? Keep It G Records says, how are you doing, buddy, first of all? What's your take on Wes Anderson movies? And are you going to see the new one or review any of the movies on the channel? I would consider myself a fan of Wes Anderson. I haven't seen everything. I still haven't seen, what is it, Moonrise Kingdom? Is that what that one's called? And then the Grand Budapest Hotel. I still haven't seen those two. But I do consider myself a fan. I absolutely love The Royal Tenenbaums. That's probably my favorite Wes Anderson film that I've seen. My favorite soundtrack to a Wes Anderson film, because the soundtracks are always pretty dope, might be The Life Aquatic. I really love that. There's like David Bowie covers, but in Portuguese. Really interesting stuff there. I even like Bottle Rocket. I love the Darjeeling Limited. What was the new one that came out a year or two ago? Asteroid City. I liked that one. I enjoyed that one. I want to say that I reviewed that one on a Rockin Robbie Live, but maybe I didn't. I think I did, but we definitely didn't pull that one out. But yeah, I'm quite the fan. And yeah, if there's a new one coming out, and I didn't realize there was a new one coming out, I will definitely check it out. As far as reviewing Wes Anderson films on the channel, I know that we've done Isle of Dogs, and that was my first time watch. It was a Crew's Choice pick that was picked by Hammer Time Holshoe a few years ago. And honestly, I don't think that we've reviewed any others. We haven't reviewed Rushmore. We haven't reviewed Royal Tenenbaums or Darjeeling Limited. I don't think we've done Fantastic Mr. Fox. I don't think. So yeah, we should probably do some Wes Anderson films at some point. That's what I think. Let's see, where are we at here? Got lost in the chat here. Southside Ronin says, drinking one, smoking one, reading my pools while listening to PCP Live. No better Father's Day. Well, hell yeah, here's to you. Here's a drink, and later on we'll pull out the smoke. Chaos in Comics says, one time at a bar trivia, I forgot Yoda was exiled on Dagobah. All of my non-nerd friends were very disappointed in me. Yeah, dude, because it's like, that's something you should know. Like, and sometimes you overthink shit, right? So what Verno did for round one of trivia was he would play a clip of a piece of a score from a horror film. And I knew all of them except for two, and those two happened to land right on my turn. And the first one was Jaws. What a gimme answer, right? But I'm listening to it and it's going and I'm just like, that's not Jaws, that's too obvious. He wouldn't do something like that. It was fucking Jaws. So I got that one wrong. And then the other one was from 28 Days Later, and I knew it. And I knew that it was from the early 2000s, and I knew it wasn't Saw, but I couldn't figure out what it was. And so I said Saw like a dipshit. And yep, those two in particular pretty much cost me trivia. So what can you do, though? You can't win them all, right? You can try as hard as you can, and sometimes you mess up and forget that Yoda was exiled on Dagobah. But even I would have not forgotten that one. Chaos, come on. Just kidding. And he says, Station, Robbie, I found Wolverine 133 yesterday. Also, can I send you a link to the video I made of all the BPRD Hellboy Savage Dragon comics I found? Yes. you can actually absolutely send me that video. I would recommend sending it to the PCP Instagram page. That's probably where you'll have more luck getting a hold of me, unless we're personal friends on Facebook. 133. What's Wolverine 133? I know we've been covering some books. Yeah, it was the start of the Eric Larson run, which we've been covering here on Rockin Robbie Live on Marvel in the 90s, which we're continuing today with issue 136. So, yeah. See, once again, how stupid can you be, Robbie? You literally have been reading this recently. Hey, we got Joe Corallo in the house. Station Joe, how you doing? Everybody, be sure when you're at your shops on Wednesday to check out King Arthur and the Knights of Justice Volume 2 out this week from our homie Joe Corallo, based on the 90s cartoon that I'm not super familiar with, but I'll definitely be picking up Volume 2 because I have Volume 1. But I should read it, shouldn't I, Joe? I really should. Also, Joe's got some really cool, exciting things happening in the future, including a Kickstarter that's about to be launching. I'm sure we'll have him on the show to talk about that. Joe is always around. Anthony, what is up? What's good, brother? You like that Spider-Man comic with his ass hanging out? Let me tell you something. We were talking about this the other day because FOC for this week includes Jay and Silent Bob Meet Archie. And I had like the PDF open. I was, looking through it, and one of my homies I work with come in, and he's like, "What's this?" So I was like, "It's Jay and Silent Bob meets meets Archie." And he's like, "Well, damn, that's crazy." And I was like, "Yeah, dude, if this came out 20 years ago, I'd be hyped as shit, But I'm not. I am not as hyped anymore for Kevin Smith's work. I'm not, and it's kind of sad. But I feel like Kevin Smith, and I. Okay, so it's going to be weird to say because, for instance, I defend Rob Liefeld, right? And I don't think Rob Liefeld's really changed too much in his career. He hasn't really evolved too much, right? But Kevin Smith, I would say that one of my problems with him is I don't think that his work has evolved. It still feels very immature in a way. And there was I love Clerks. I love Mallrats. I love Chasing Amy. And I adore Dogma. But after Dogma, me and my homie were talking about it. We're like, that's probably like the last good one, right? Like he said he liked Red State. And I'm not really the big fan of Red State, but I do like Zack and Miri Make a Porno. But yeah, like Kevin Smith just doesn't hit the way he used to, right? And Kevin Smith doing a Spider-Man story 20 years ago, I've been excited about. But reading his Spider-Man book, and I was just like rolling my eyes. I was like, this is so fucking stupid. I was like, this is the dumbest, stupidest shit. But if you liked it, if anybody out there read it and liked it, more power to you. More power to you. But it was not for me whatsoever. I thought it was pretty fucking stupid. But I'll tell you what, dude. 20-year-old Robbie would have been like, the Sinister 69? Oh, it's hilarious. But now I'm just like, come on. What did y'all think if y'all read that? It wasn't... I get it. Kevin Smith's just trying to have fun, but I thought it was dumb as shit. Chaos says, I like Wes Anderson. I haven't watched the last few, though. You need to have the right mood. I definitely agree with that. It's not something that you can just throw on at any time, like Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning, which we'll be covering next Friday the 13th, but happens to be all the way fucking in February. Jesus. William says, early tickets for New York Comic-Con went on sale today. Rogue Collecting, what is up, my man? Station. We got 9-panel grid in the house. How you doing, buddy? We got Fable in the house. Peter's here saying, Station, everybody. Hope you're all doing great. I filmed some content for my channel, but I am running into problems editing. This shit is so hard. Yeah, man. That's why I don't edit videos. I think there's been a handful of videos that I've edited, but for the most part, it's just my jackassness sitting in front of a camera talking and rambling and ranting. That's what I do. Apparently, I can do it pretty decently well enough for like 24,000 of y'all like it, I guess. So that's cool. But yeah, fuck editing, bro. I'd much rather like load up slides and bits and videos on a live stream and just perform live and produce it in actual time than fucking edit a video. That's like, and it takes forever. It takes forever. So everybody that like edits their videos and really succeeds on YouTube, more power to you. I love you guys. I'm not an editor. And that to me is the worst part of this whole gig. And so I just don't do it. I just don't do it. I just don't. William says 4 days in VIPs have already sold out for New York Comic Con. Man, that's crazy. Frankie in the house saying, picked up my Spawn 365 and Conan the Barbarian 21 today. That Conan book was awesome. The Spawn book was all right, but the Conan book was fucking top notch. By the way, last week we covered on PCP Movie Night Fables pick Conan the Barbarian, and our special guest was Jim Zub, the writer of Conan the Barbarian, pretty much the architect of all things Conan right now. It was a really great show, really great conversation, and Jim Zub knows that, man. He knows. He knows him some Conan. I'll tell you that. Nine Panel Grid says that Life Aquatic soundtrack is really great. Hell yeah, it is. Road Collecting says, love Fantastic Mr. Fox and Isle of Dogs too. Me too. I love both of those films. Eddie says, Station Robbie, Life Aquatic is so good and the soundtrack is definitely a part of that. Absolutely, I agree. Chaos says, I should probably start from the beginning. I guess that was Bottle Rocket, I guess is Wes's first film. I like Bottle Rocket. Rushmore's great. But Royal Tenenbaums, to me, there's something so special about that. First of all, it's hilarious. It's dark at times. And it has a balance and a tonal thing that I think is unmatchable in a lot of other movies, including from Wes Anderson. Trying to get back to where I was in the chat. What you doing, man? Omega Slice Comics is in the house. Yelling Station at all of us. Hell yeah, well, Station. Joe says, I'm a big Wes Anderson fan, so I'm down. First movie I snuck into was Rushmore. Dude, Rushmore's got one of the dumbest one-liner jokes that just cracks me up every damn time. And it's when they're all having dinner together. And I think it's Luke Wilson is there, and he's like wearing scrubs, and he's like, these are my OR scrubs. And Jason Schwartzman goes, oh, are they? And then Bill Murray just kind of like does this like quick like chuckle or like choking thing. It's so fucking funny. So funny. Oh, are they? He does something like that. It's the stupid little things. Like in Royal Tenenbaums when the taxi comes and that kid goes, this taxi's got a dent in it. And the taxi is fucked. You know what I'm saying? The whole taxi is fucking. The kid's like, this taxi's got a dent in it. It just cracks me the fuck up. Sneaking into Rushmore, man. I remember Rushmore. Rushmore was the first one I watched. I watched it in the theater, and it was all over MTV. In fact, I believe that MTV, for their movie awards, had like the theater company or the film club or whatever from the movie, allegedly, like making their versions of some of the popular films of the year. I think that's on the Criterion DVD that I have. So I need to check that out. I haven't seen Rushmore in fucking years. I've been trying to get my girlfriend to watch Royal Tenenbaums with me for a long time. And every time I feel like maybe it's going to happen, it doesn't. She'd rather watch The Blacklist or some shit like that. But you know what? I love her, so more power to her. Anyway. Keep It G says, The Life Aquatic definitely has the best soundtrack, so good. You should definitely see Moonrise Kingdom, one of his best. The new one has Benicio del Toro and a great cast. Hell yeah. I love me some Benicio del Toro. There's a Benicio del Toro movie that I've been wanting to cover on this channel for a long, long time, and I've just never gotten around to actually fitting it in. I should have fucking put it in for Action Fest. I should have put it in for Action Fest. But it's Way of the Gun. Way of the Gun is like the anti-action movie. Like, and I love that movie. It has Nicky Cat in it, who just passed away. Taye Diggs is in that movie. James Caan delivers an insane performance, but the main characters are Ryan Felipe and Benicio del Toro. And they basically are kidnapping a rich couple's surrogate, the woman who's having their child for them. And chaos ensues. Way of the Gun is fucking brilliant. It's written and directed by Christopher McQuarrie. So it's Christopher McQuarrie won an Oscar for writing Usual Suspects, which I think is one of the greatest film scripts of the 90s. And then he wrote and directed this one. Now we mostly know him as Tom Cruise's partner in the Mission Impossible franchise. Dynamite is in the house. Omega Slice says, I'm sober as fuck this month, so Martian Manhunter reading is on a pause. Fair enough. I read it sober. Well, I mean, I do a little bit of this when I read it, I guess. But so, yeah. I don't know what it'd be like to do a psychedelic and look at Absolute Martian Manhunter. That'd be crazy. That would be crazy. Keep It G says, love to see your growth since I started following you in 2018. Keep up the good work, brother station. Well, thank you so much, Keep It G. You keep it G, man. Yeah, 133 is Eric Larson one, Eddie. Yeah. Once again, I pulled a Jaws botch. Keep It G says, the Life Aquatic soundtrack might be top 10 of all time. There's some great behind-the-scenes footage of them making it with both the Brazilian guitarist and the Moog players. Oh, super cool. I gotta check that out. I actually don't own that one in physical media anymore. Metal Elf Collectibles in the house. Station. Big Herm says, yes, I used to watch King Arthur and the Knights of Justice. I'll definitely get that. Hell yeah. You should. It comes out this week. Let your shop know. If they don't got it, demand it. Beg for it. Let your voice be heard. Frankie says, found Spawn 356 Mark Spears cover at Atlantis Fantasy World in Santa Cruz, California. Awesome staff. Visited the boardwalk on Tuesday. Well, hell yeah. It's always cool to pick up a Mark Spears cover. That guy's kind of an asshat, but he's still cool. I only say that because I actually know Mark. Dynamite says, not a Wes Anderson fan. You know what? That's okay. We're not going to judge you. Nine Panel Grid said, Kevin Smith's work all became a snake eating its own tail. Everything became a reference of a reference of a reference. And dude, you're 100% right. Thank you for articulating that one better for me. That's exactly what it is. Like, that was one of the things we loved about the View Askew universe at the beginning, was how they referenced each other in little bits, but then it just got too much, and it became just this fucking self-referential bullshit, is basically what I think happened. What's up, Kenneth? Did you ever watch that Kevin Smith and Grant Morrison interview? Yes, I have. I've pretty much consumed every Grant Morrison live action interview that I can find. So, yeah, I would say so. I love that one. Anytime that Grant will talk about their experience in Kathmandu that led to the creation of the Invisibles, I'm super into that lore. Eddie said, yeah, the movie original soundtrack and the So Jorge, I don't know how to say his name, companion album of Bowie covers in Portuguese are so cool. Yeah, it really is. Mark says, bloody hell, chaps, it's popping off in here. The Black Cat story never finished. Daredevil Target never finished. That being said, I really am a fan of Daredevil, Guardian Devil, the story he did with Joe Quesada and Jimmy Palmiotti. We just had Jimmy back on the channel a couple weeks ago with Amanda. That was super cool. It was really great chatting with them. They're so cool. So cool. But I also am a big fan of his Clerks comics, in particular the first two that Jim Mahfood did the artwork for. Clerks, the comic book, Clerks, the holiday special. The third one with Phil Hester, I believe, on the artwork, which is The Lost Scene, is okay. But those first two are pretty freaking dope. I still have them in floppies, and I have the like the first collected edition of it. That is signed by Jim Mahfood from when I met him back in like 2002. I should go grab that. I also, right there, it's that right there, right? What that is a Clerks movie poster signed by Kevin Smith that all my homies got me for a birthday in the early 2000s. And the frame is like coming apart, so I got to get it like reframed, and then I need to put it back up in the house somewhere. But like, I'll show that off at some point, maybe tonight. And I got Chasing Dogma, which is what they called the Jay and Silent Bob miniseries that they did in the 90s, the 4-issue series from Oni. I have a hardcover collected of that's signed by Duncan Fegredo, who was the artist, as well as Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes. And Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes stopped here at one of our local comedy clubs a few years ago to do like a little bit, right? Like they were like sitting on stage, they were like talking about shit, and that was super cool. And I was like right up there in the front. So I've gotten to meet Kevin and then gotten to meet Jay, and pretty freaking cool guys. Big Herm says, wait, the Sinister 69? Hold on, I'm going to go read it right now. All right, well, can you wait till after the show, asshat? Sherb says, hire me. We're not hiring. I wish we were, but there's nothing in the budget for hiring. Dynamite says, Jim Zub was so great, dropping loads of knowledge about Conan. Yes, he was. Kiba G says, I just saw Rushmore for the first time. So good. My older brother left for college, and the last thing he did was leave me his DVD set of The Life Aquatic and told me when I thought it was funny. Okay, cool. Kiba G says, I would be cool enough to hang out with him. Unfortunately, it took me like 4 years to understand how funny and amazing it is. All right. I got you. Metal Elf Collectible says, I've never seen a Wes Anderson movie. Y'all, what movie would you recommend for a first-timer in Wes Anderson? I would recommend Rushmore or the Royal Tenenbaums. Royal Tenenbaums to me is the best, man. And Dynamite is reminding everybody to smash that like button. Yeah, OR Scrubs. Oh, are they? It's just fucking stupid thing. Just cracks me up. Hey, what's up, D? Anthony says, Storm Run has been killing it in Marvel in general. I wouldn't know if Marvel has been killing it in general. They are on an... There's more books from Marvel that I'm enjoying right now than there have been over the last few years. I will definitely tell you that. And, yeah, I'll tell you that. But Storm has been great. Storm has been really, really cool. And, I mean, last week I had a rough time with some of my Marvel comics. I felt like most of those comics were people sitting around talking about their depression and mental health and anxiety. I'm all about that discussion. But, man, every fucking comic's got to talk about it. Every comic's got to do that. Every comic's got to do that. Like, at this point, there's no nuance to that anymore. It's not, you're just doing it just because it's like, this is what you do. I don't know. Do y'all get what I'm saying? So crazy. So crazy. Pete wants a Breaking Bad update. All right. I, this afternoon, watched episode 6 of season 1. Episode 6 is the penultimate episode of season 1 of Breaking Bad. So I got one more to go to finish the first season. And then I think I've fulfilled my duties, right? Now, I've been talking about my thoughts on Breaking Bad and how it kind of took a little bit to really get going, but the last 2 episodes I watched, I really liked. And I was ready for them now to get into the swing of things. And then today I watched episode 6, which is the episode where Walter and... what's the character's name? Is it Jesse? Walter and little dude, they are starting to cook meth again, right? And so dude takes the meth to this guy. He gets his ass beat, put into the hospital, and he gets all the meth stolen, right? So Walter then, after shaving his head, goes into this dude's place of business and It's the famous scene, I guess, because I've seen this scene before. Like, I've seen this scene before, and I don't know where I've seen it. It must have been one of my homies who was like, this is why you need to watch Breaking Bad. Watch this scene. Because I had seen that scene before, where he shows up with a bag of what looks to be meth, and dude's like, you're so stupid, man. You tell me I just ripped you off for like a pound of meth, and you come in and into my zone, into my house, and you're like bringing more? Like, what do you think's going to happen? He's like, well, you're wrong about one thing. This isn't meth. He throws it down. It blows the shit up, and he like comes up with that deal. I was like, so that shit's so badass. And it's also where he comes up with the name Heisenberg. Fucking awesome, y'all. Episode 6 sealed the deal 100% on this show. I'm on board. I'm going to watch the last episode. I might watch it tonight when we get done here. I might go ahead and get that one knocked out, watch it, and hell, I might just go ahead and start season 2 as soon as I can. Because I'm really liking it. In fact, that's the first episode that I would give 5 ya digs. A perfect score for episode 6 of Breaking Bad season 1. That shit was ballin'. That was great. It does get a little sad because of the cancer stuff, right? I mean, that's the point of it. But I think that they're having a really good balance right now of the character interactions, the drama going on, him dealing with his cancer, and then the fun excitement of the meth-making life, I guess. I don't know. But I really, really liked episode 6. I watched that this afternoon. I thought it was super solid. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to watch the next episode, so that's my bad. Of course, Sherb. Eddie says, I tried a while ago to read Invisibles, and the first volume didn't really get through to me, and that was before I found your channel, so maybe I need to try it again. Invisibles is, it's an interesting book, and it's definitely not something that spoon-feeds you what's going on. I love the Invisibles, but I'm going to tell you this. The first time I read through the Invisibles, I was like, I can understand the simple thing about, like, freedom fighters that are fighting against, like, the lie that the villains who are the Authority or whatever, like, not the superhero group, the Authority, but, like, I get the idea of, like, freedom fighters fighting against, like, the oppressive nature of these, like, other dimensional entities that are trying to manipulate the world, right? But when I first read The Invisibles all the way through, I was like, I don't know what the fuck is going on with this book. This book's crazy. And then every time I read it, and I've read it several times, I always pick up something new. And then the more I got into some of my spiritual practices and started researching some of the stuff that Grant's talking about in The Invisibles, that's when it widened my view of it. I would love to do a series of going through The Invisibles and pointing out things and stuff like that. But even I am not an expert on that. But that would be something fun to do, actually, was go through The Invisibles issue by issue. That would be really fun. We could do it together, Eddie. Da-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum. Yeah, sometimes that happens to me, Keep It G. You watch a movie, you don't really like it. You watch it a few years later, it just hits you differently. It might have been the Jay and Silent Bob Get Old thing. I think that's what I don't remember what they were calling it, but it was them. They came in and they just sat there and they were just talking, you know, answering questions and shit like that. It was like a comedy bit, but like you could tell it was definitely like just off the cuff. No, I don't know about getting the new Quick Stops comic, Eddie. Like, I read the first one they did not too long ago, and I just wasn't vibing with it. I don't know. It wasn't really my thing. Frankenfrog, what is up? Derek says Darjeeling Limited is a good first 2 for a Wes Anderson film. That's a really good movie. I really like that movie. Was it Jason Schwartzman, Owen Wilson, and Adrian Brody? Also, Natalie Portman's hot as fuck in that movie. Dynamite says, I think Marvel has been doing well with their miniseries, but still think they are struggling with the ongoings. I think that's a fair statement. Frankenfrog is in the house. Eddie says, love the ending song for the ending of season 1. Well, I'll have to get to that very soon. Mark says, I remember binging Breaking Bad hard and catching up just before the final episode so I could watch it the day it came out. That's not what Mark sounds like at all, by the way, y'all. Pete says, glad you liked that episode. Go so damn hard. Yeah, it's pretty dope. You're wrong about one thing. This isn't meth. What the fuck? That was so sweet. That was so dope. Anthony says, Breaking Bad is a snowball effect. It just keeps getting better and better. That's what I keep hearing. Eddie says, I might rewatch. Such a great series. Yeah. Rogue says, more of those 5 out of 5 scores to come. We got 62 Lefty Blues in the house. What's up, my man? How you doing? Heck yeah. Good to see all you beautiful people in here tonight. Anthony says, read Multiversity this week and thought it was dope. And Gods. Gods, I liked the second time I read it. But Multiversity, that shit's awesome. I love Multiversity. Anytime Grant plays around with the multiverse, sign me up. I'm down. In fact, I'm surprised I've never done this video, but I have literally gone into like 30, 45 minute long lectures basically to people that tell me they don't understand Final Crisis, and then I start breaking it down for them. Did you check out the Revival Sci-Fi show? What'd you think of that comic series? I have not checked it out. I vaguely remember the comic book, but I don't remember enough about it, Uprise, to really comment on it intelligently. What new comics would you recommend to people who haven't been active readers for a few years? Number 1, I would recommend right now Assorted Crisis Events from Image Comics. I would recommend Absolute Martian Manhunter. Pretty much all the Absolute books are good for people that, especially if they've are lapsed readers. So yeah, I think the Absolute books, my favorite being Absolute Martian Manhunter, but Absolute Wonder Woman's really good too. And Absolute Batman, I think, is really strengthening up, and I really like this Bane arc. Outside of that, though, yeah, it's Assorted Crisis Events. I think that one's absolutely brilliant and amazing. I would recommend anybody go pick up the graphic novels for Little Bird and Precious Metal. Those are some really solid books. I would pick up Many Deaths of Layla Starr and Rare Flavors, but Many Deaths of Layla Starr, to me, takes the cake as far as collaborations between Ram V and Felipe Andrade. So yeah, I think that's a good starter list right there. Eddie says, I'm down. I'll track down the trades. Good luck with that. Like, the trades are no longer in print. There is an omnibus that's available, but there is a softcover compendium of the entire series coming out soon. That's going to be like $60. I think it actually drops at the beginning of next year, maybe. So that's worth it. I have mine in the 4 deluxe hardcovers, but you can't find those anymore. But if you go on eBay or something, you should be able, or just like a used bookstore, used comic shop, you should be able to find maybe the original, because the trades were originally 7-volume set, then they redid the trades in a 4-volume deluxe edition, and that's what I have in hardcover. But you can get the omnibus, and there is the compendium coming. Anthony wants to know if I watched Worlds Collide. Hell yeah, I watched Worlds Collide. Worlds Collide was badass. And just like everybody else now, I'm in love with Mr. Iguana. I'm in love more with Stephanie Vaquer. I think her and Chad Gable were like the all-stars of that weekend, basically putting in a lot of work. I had so much fun with Worlds Collide. It was a really great setup for Money in the Bank. I thought Money in the Bank was freaking awesome. We got to hang out over at Jelani's. It was kind of like his birthday party. And man, just from start to finish, Worlds Collide and Money in the Bank, I fucking loved all of it. I really, really did. I thought it was super strong. And I would say that Money in the Bank has been the best PLE of the year so far. So far. I loved it too when Dom starts talking shit to Octagon Jr. Pax Americana is so good. Hell yeah, it is. It can be read in so many different ways, too, which is interesting. I really like that. William says, so Hush 2 is in a delay? Yeah. Yep. The next issue of Hush is delayed, and then the following issue of Hush is delayed. And remember that this is a 12-issue series that they broke and split into 2 6-parters, right? So the next 2 issues are late. Like, one's not even coming out till, like, I think July now, maybe August, and the other one's not coming out till, like, October or something. That's going to delay the reboot, the relaunch of Batman with Jorge Jimenez and Matt Fraction. I'm sure it's going to delay that maybe a little bit, or maybe not. Maybe they'll just go ahead with the new Batman #1 before the previous iteration wraps up or something. And yeah, so I don't know when we're going to get the second half of Hush 2, because that was planned for next year, but I don't think that's going to happen, y'all. I don't. So we're going to see. But yeah, Batman Hush 2 has fallen behind in the schedule. People have been asking me why, and I think it's pretty obvious. It's Jim Lee. Jim Lee doesn't have the time to do it, but he committed to doing it. So I guess he better finish this. However, Jim, if you're out there listening and you decide you don't want to finish Batman Hush 2, that's fine. But if you could finish All-Star Batman and Robin for me, that would be great. Jokos, what is up? Pete says, did you see Ian Bertram's page from his new book with Darcy they're working on? No, I didn't even see that. I'll have to check that out. Sherp says, Batman 1 by Fraction is already delayed because of Hush from September to be determined. Yeah, because it would be silly to have a Batman #1 when the previous volume hasn't finished yet. So, yeah, there you go. Way to go. Yeah, way to drop the ball, DC. Well, you know, and it kills momentum. You know, those numbers were finally ticking back up on Batman because of the hotshot nature of Hush 2, Jim Lee, Jeff Loeb, and the book's not been that great. And I don't know a lot of people that are really digging it, and sales are still going to be good and strong on it, but this is a way to kill momentum on that book, and it's definitely something that DC didn't want to happen, but it did. Joko says, I stopped reading Hush. The part of Batman fighting Red Hood to save the Joker did it for me. Eddie says, one good thing about Hush 2 is it's made me appreciate Hush 1, especially through the facsimiles. Same. We've been going through those here on Rockin Robbie Live. Next time we do a Rockin Robbie Live, we'll do Chapter 4, I guess. So, yeah. Oh, that sucks, sure. Well, that's just the way it goes sometimes. Starscream, what is up? What's your favorite Predator movie and why? My favorite Predator movie is the first one. But I'll be honest with you, all I've watched is Predator, Predator 2, Prey, and that's it. I haven't watched like Predators or The Predator. I've never seen any of the Alien vs. Predator movies. So I'll go with the first one just because that movie's pretty badass. Arnold's in it. Jesse Ventura's in it. Carl Weathers is in it. Dylan, you son of a bitch. Stick around. I love the movie. So I'd go with the first one. We covered the first one on a PCP movie night not too long ago for Action Fest. So there you go. Robin and Batman, Jason Todd. Andrew, I really liked that book. Of course, it's Jeff Lemire, Dustin Nguyen. So I'm on board for that. I thought it was really, really cool. All right. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, DC Sneak Peek here on Rockin' Robbie Live.
When I was a kid, we moved in right next to the neighborhood, and we walked there, like, literally I was like 11 or maybe younger than 11.
All right, we are on our way to the next place.
Yeah, yeah.
Do we see him?
I think it's him. He's falling down. Take it left.
That's
Nope, that's not him.
Damn it.
Yeah, and it was one of those ones that, it's like fucking loud.
Little bastards.
And we go down there, and it's pitch black, and there's no lights at all. Just this big alcove, and above there are like trees and like high areas back there that you can walk up to if you know how to get there.
Oh, it wasn't responding the way it was the last time.
Yeah.
Oh no, they hated it this time.
Yeah. But that's the thing, it's experimentation. Trying out. Like,
I'm not judging you, brother, right?
It's like
It was just weird when you were like, hold up.
Close Encounters.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm terrified of all ghost stuff, even though I don't believe in anything. But we're walking around, and we hear loud as day. We hear, ah! Just one loud, piercing scream from the trees, and I immediately was like, I wanna go, 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 can we go, I wanna go, I wanna go, can we go, I wanna go, I wanna go, I wanna...
Trying to do the photo shoot today. No Robbie, no Blake. May not happen. We'll see. Basic story of the house here. Gonna be the last one on it. Found an orange ball after that orange orb encounter.
Say that again, I wasn't recording. I'm so serious.
Are you serious?
I'm so serious, y'all.
Are you really?
I am now. I'm so serious.
Were you recording any of it?
No, none of that.
I told the Orange Ball Sigil story.
He did.
I know you did, and I told you. I'm so sorry I didn't film any of that.
How do we feel about what happened?
I don't want to go home tonight.
Let me know. You want to.
Yeah, let me see.
Where should we
What do
put
I
your
want?
shot?
Try not to get a customer here. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Come up to like Trevor, like right up in this little section right here.
Hey man, just get you.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back here to Pop Culture Philosophers. In particular, welcome back to the second act of Rockin Robbie Live. I'm your host, Rockin Robbie Billups. We've had a great show already, just chatting, talking about movies, comics, pop culture, and a whole lot more. Coming up, we got the DC sneak peek, we got Marvel in the 90s, and of course, we got the Action Fest 2025 full reveal tonight here on Rockin Robbie Live. You should follow Pop Culture Philosophers on Facebook and on Instagram. If you're on Facebook, join the PCP Army. That's the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. You can follow me on X over at the Rockin Robbie. You can support the channel with Super Chat or over at patreon.com/PCP, like these fine PCP patrons right there. I definitely need to update that list, but I haven't done it yet, so there you go. Anyway, we have had so much fun already. When we last wrapped up, people were asking me about Predator. I've only ever seen Predator, Predator 2, and Prey. I love all three of those films. Predator 2, by the way, probably the sweatiest movie I've ever seen. There's so much sweat in that movie. It's a great film. Danny Glover, Bill Paxton's in that movie. I really like Predator 2. It's set in the distant future of 1997. Pretty freaking cool stuff. Anyway, movie night tomorrow night is The Adventures of Ford Fairlane. This is John Spillio's pick for Crew's Choice. I hadn't seen this movie in a very, very long time. It was a fun revisit. So try to find it, watch Ford Fairlane, and join us here tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Central Time for PCP Movie Night. Yeah, Fable loves Predator 2. We'll have to do that one day eventually. I've always toyed around with the idea of doing a Predator franchise review, but we've not scheduled that one yet. Southside Ronan says the new animated Predator movie on Amazon is pretty solid. I didn't even know they did an animated Predator movie. Dynamite says, I just watched Prey the other day, was pleasantly surprised. Chokos is very excited for this sneak peek. Dynamite says, I need to check out the animated one. I forgot it was on Prime. Rogue Collecting's reminding everyone to hit the like button. Starscream says, yeah, Prey's pretty good. Southside said Prey was great. Robin Leach, I fucked him. Oh, dude, I can't wait to have this conversation. Fable, like, Brooks went through the same thing that we were all going through. He could not find the movie at all. And so I sent him the same email I sent you. And hopefully he's been able to watch it, because, man, that's so fucking funny. I need to get a hold of Jelani, too, in case he needs that. But, man, I'm going to tell you something. I was not looking forward to The Adventures of Ford Fairlane. However, Crew's Choice is Crew's Choice. Whatever the crew member wants to pick, I ain't going to veto it, unless it's something we've already covered, right? But I ain't going to veto it. But I'll be honest, I was like, this fucking movie. And I kept saying stuff like, it's got Terry Hatcher in it. No, it doesn't. I kept getting this movie confused with was it Brain Smasher? What's the movie with him and there's a movie that he did with Terry Hatcher. Brain Smasher, a love story, 1993. Sucks. And so I thought that was the movie that we were watching. But I'll be honest with you, The Adventures of Ford Fairlane, I kind of had a lot of fun with it. So I'm really, really excited to talk about that one. Robin Leach, I fucked him. Oh, and I love that when he's like, it's so stupid, but I've been doing this shit all week long. I've been going up to people being like, here's to you, sucking my dick. Like, I don't know. It cracks me. And then I'm like, no wonder Spillio likes this. Spillio's humor, like if you meet and hang out with him in person, you can see the influence of Andrew Dice Clay. 100%. But Spillio's a bit hotter. Hickory dickory dock, that's right. Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet, eating her curds and whey. Starscream says Predators is underrated. Introspect says, what's up, Introspect? Says Predators, the one with Adrian Brody, was pretty good too. I don't know what, the movie was really fun. And it's not available. Like, it's not on Blu-ray. It's like been released on DVD, but it's nowhere streaming, nowhere to even rent. My homie didn't even have it at his video store, man. I was like, son of my bitch. What a crazy movie to pick, though. Adventures of Ford Fairlane. Who's even thought about that movie for a long time, you know? That's right, Eddie. That is the punchline. Along came a spider and sat down beside her and said, "Hey, what's in the bowl, bitch?" Like, what the fuck is so stupid? I love it. All right. DC, believe it or not, is releasing comics this week. And this is your official DC sneak peek. All right, first up, we got Crypto, the Last Dog of Krypton, with a really nifty Jay Lee cover. So this is written by Ryan North with artwork by Mike Norton. Mike Norton is awesome. He did a book with, what's his name? The Goon guy. Why am I blanking right now? Who's the guy who created the Goon? Eric Powell, right? He did a book called Grumble, I think, and I have a copy of that right back there signed by Mike, because I've met Mike a few times. And I also have his Battle Pug compendium right up there that he signed for me too. So he likes drawing dogs, and he does a really good job at drawing dogs, so I guess that's why he got this gig doing this Crypto book, right? And Crypto is cute and adorable, both the movie version and the comic book version. So what this is this is the origin of Crypto. And here's something crazy, y'all. As much of a comic book historian I might claim to be, as much of a pop culture philosopher I aim and strive to be, I have no clue what the fuck is the deal with Crypto. I just, one day, Crypto was in a comic book. I was like, Superman's got a dog. Supergirl's got a cat. Superman's got a dog. All right, I just accepted it. I've never even really looked super deep into the origin of Crypto. But that's what we get here. How does Crypto show up on Earth from Krypton? How does he wind up in Clark's life? This is the story being told here. Now, it's not just all Crypto-centric. It's got a lot of Jor-El. It's got a lot of Lara in there. So you get some moments that you don't typically get seen before the destruction of Krypton, and how Crypto is kind of involved in testing out the spacecraft that will eventually send young Kal-El to Earth. So I liked this. I thought it was cool. And it blew my mind when I'm like, I have never seeked out the origin of Crypto, where the hell he came from. I just always kind of accepted, sure, he's got a super dog. Why not? But it's nice to put a highlight on Crypto, especially with him being in a movie for like the first time. I think the first time I ever saw Crypto in a comic book was Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow, where he dies. And I was like, it's just accepted Silver Age ridiculousness, right? Speaking of Superman, we got Superman Unlimited, issue number 2. I had some things to say about issue number 1. It was a little bit too much of a recap, but I guess that was the assignment. Have a new Superman number 1, written by Dan Slott, artwork by Raphael Albuquerque, right? Yeah, I believe so. They didn't put the... Oh, there they are. Yeah, Raphael Albuquerque. So it had a lot of recap, but then I said the book, even though I didn't really like issue number 1, I really liked the setup at the end of it. And the setup was that a giant kryptonite asteroid falls to Earth. Superman goes and stops it, winds up in a coma for like 3 months, wakes up, kryptonite's all over the planet now. It's become this massive rush from countries to try to possess the kryptonite, and that overexposure to the kryptonite radiation changes something in Kal-El's biology, and now he unlocks a new power where he becomes kind of like gold infused. And you find out more about that power here in issue number 2. Also, you get the setup for the new vision of the Daily Planet, which is interesting. I liked this issue a lot. I thought it was better than issue number 1. It was pretty freaking solid. You got some great action sequences here. You got some neat commentary here. You got some nice world building here. And Albuquerque's Superman feels big and powerful, impactful, and majestic. And y'all, the book worked. It really did. Sometimes Dan Slott's work can kind of get a little overly verbose and bogged down by its own weight. That's not happening in issue number 2 of Superman Unlimited. So far, I really like this issue. I thought it was dope. I really did. All right, then we got Wonder Woman issue number 22, the start of a new story arc from Tom King with his Wonder Woman run. We got Caitlin Yarsky on the artwork here, and the artwork's fine. I like Yarsky's artwork, but it's not typical. It's not necessarily. It's not Daniel Sampere. You know what I'm saying? So the art kind of is a little bit of a step down, though I do think it's solid artwork. The story is kind of okay. It's a throwback story to like the day after Steve Trevor and Wonder Woman first make love, and he wakes up and Wonder Woman's not there. She's off fighting this dude named Mouse Man or some shit who's like taking over the Capitol, and he's got all these mice that he's like made big. It's silly, it's lighthearted, but it doesn't have a whole lot of charm. I don't think it has the charm, the punchiness of humor and charm that Tom King wants this book to have. So it didn't really quite work for me. And that's a shame because Wonder Woman's become one of my favorite DC books. I'm really, really digging what Tom King was doing there. But ever since we wrapped up that big story with the Sovereign, I feel like the book's just been kind of like meandering around. But this is a prelude for the next big arc, and we'll see what happens. This is just a prelude, but it's a little cutesy, but it doesn't really quite work for me. Then we got Nightwing issue 127. Dan Waters, said this before, I'm going to say it again, really coming into his own as a writer of the character Nightwing in the city of Bloodhaven, putting his own unique Dan Waterisms into it, but still completely nailing the assignment of writing a Nightwing book. It feels like a Nightwing book, so it's light, it's breezy, but it has weight to it as well. And Dan Water has some crazy ideas that he likes to explore in his work. Just read things like Homesick Pilots, read Deep Roots, read Limbo, right? And you'll see the Dan Waters that I know and love. Is that a fit for Nightwing? It didn't feel like it was at first, but it's really ironed out any of those kinks, and Dan Waters is able to throw in, like I said, the Dan Waterisms. In this one, he's kind of playing around with Nightmite, I guess his name is it's like the fifth dimensional imp that is obsessed with Nightwing, kind of like Mr. Mixius Pitalik and Batmite. Nightwing's got his own one. So Dan Waters is using some really cool ideas and concepts with that. Plus Dexter Soy is back on the artwork, and that's always fun. Then we got Detective Comics here with 1098. We're almost at issue 1100 of Detective Comics, y'all. That's pretty cool. Artwork is by Lee Garbett. And the artwork is all right. It gets the job done. It's fine. This is a story that harkens back to Harvey Bullock's first years as a police officer. He's kidnapped, and Batman and Penguin have to go and save him. This was all right. Detective Comics has been one of my favorite ongoing main Batman titles over the last few months. This issue was solid. It's got some stuff that it's setting up and some stuff that is paying off. And it does so in an excellent fashion. However, I cannot wait till Mikhail Hanin comes back on the art there. Then we've got Batman and Robin, Year 1, issue number 8. Mark Waid, Chris Samney, Mateus Lopez. When they work together, you got a bona fide hit on your hands. Batman and Robin Year 1 has been so great. The artwork is always so crisp and clean, noirish, super freaking cool. I love the color choices. I love the pacing of this book. It is graphically sound. The panels really, like that double split, like this page right here, these two pages, it really pops, really stands out, especially with some of the color choices. But you got Clayface trying to figure out the identity of Batman by pretending to be Bruce Wayne. This book's been great. We're 8 issues into a 12-issue arc. Once this is done, it's going to be able to sit up there on shelves like Batman Year 1, Robin Year 1, Batgirl Year 1, all those other Year 1s that actually make really good perennial favorites. This is going to be one of those as well. Then we've got The New Gods, issue number 7. The New Gods are teaming up with the Justice League. That's right. There's all kinds of craziness going on right now in Ram V's New Gods run. That continues on here. This is basically the start of the second arc, and the Justice League are getting involved now. However, there's a big twist in here that I thought was rather clever and really cool. And the way that Ram is writing Metron is freaking fantastic. 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 You got Travis Moore doing the framing sequence here. There's always a guest artist doing a few pages in this. And at first I was like, oh man, is Evan not on here? No, Evan is on the book. And it's glorious, so good. Look at that Metron right there. New Gods is great. It's totally honoring what Jack Kirby built with the concept of New Gods, but definitely doing something unique and on its own, very much in the vein of Ron V and Evan Cagle. All right, then we got Absolute Flash, issue number 4. Story-wise, it's a pretty solid issue of Flash. I've been liking Absolute Flash. Some people haven't been liking it as much as I am. They've all been very quick reads, very briskly paced, and this iteration of Wally is interesting, but I was wondering what we're going to do with issue number 4. Story-wise, it's great, because it really starts building up some stuff that's already been laid out that you didn't really think about. Like, how did this version of the Rogues, how do they have their powers? What was Barry Allen experimenting on? And maybe the fact that there's some other experiments that were going on at the military base outside of the one that Wally West crashed to get these Flash powers. Barry Allen is dead. Gorilla Grodd is not a gorilla. He is like a little monkey. He's like a little monkey dude that's like chilling around with Wally and becoming a big time like pet of his. Not a pet, but like a companion. Pretty interesting stuff. The problem with this issue is the art. The art is typically done by Nick Robles, I believe, but this is A.L. Kaplan. And this is probably some of the weakest artwork in an Absolute book yet. It's not necessarily bad, but what we've gotten used to in these Absolute books is really refined, sophisticated artwork, and this is just kind of like average and run-of-the-mill. Well, honestly, Absolute Green Lantern's kind of whack too, as far as the art goes. It's just not something that appeals to me, but this to me is the worst art on an Absolute book so far. But the story is really solid, and it pulls some of these elements together that I wasn't even expecting to be pulled together. All right, then we got a couple facsimiles. Batman 619, the next part of Batman Hush. Just like Eddie said, I believe, earlier, Hush 2 is at least making us appreciate Hush 1 more, especially with these facsimile versions, and I like the foil ones. And then, big news, we've got Adventure Comics 210 Facsimile. This is the first appearance of Crypto, so having just said that I never even thought about who is Crypto, where's he come from, so I was really excited to check this out. It's polybagged. The reason why it's polybagged is because you have the chance to win tickets to the Superman movie premiere if you pick this up. That's why they're polybagged or whatnot. It's also caused some controversy. Here's the controversy. It also comes with a free 30-day trial to the DC, I think they call it the Infinite app or whatever. It's their digital comics app where you can access DC Comics a month after physical release, and a lot of shops are pissed about that. So this was given to shops at a discount, a very much discounted price, so that they could order more, so that people could like buy them up and get the chance to win the golden ticket to the Superman movie premiere, right? But they never told comic shops. They even overshipped it, right? They gave shops extra copies. So this should be all over the place. But maybe it won't be. Why? Because it gives a 30-day free pass to DC's digital platform, and a lot of comic shops are really pissed about that. Super pissed that they have spent money on a promotion that is mostly set up to promote digital comics. That is not sitting right with a lot of comic book retailers. Me personally, you know that I've never felt digital comics really hold back physical collecting. I think that if you get into comic books digitally, you'll eventually want to buy the book. Manga sells extremely well, even though there are very cheap digital platforms and services to use to access manga, right? They still sell very well. So I don't think that that's the big deal. However, that is kind of shitty of DC to do this thing, which seems cool. Oh, we're going to help comic shops out. We're selling this facsimile super tight into the movie, super cheap, and there's going to be a chance, but y'all going to make some money. but it's all a promotion for digital comics. A lot of comic book retailers hate that shit, and a lot of them have already vowed to destroy all their copies and fucking get rid of them. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? That's crazy. However, I don't think that the digital market hurts the physical market. So that's just me. Is it the premium version of the regular? There's just one version now. Originally, there was going to be a foil one and all this, but when they decided to do this polybag thing, there's just this now. As far as I'm aware, there's not another version. So let's see if we get the. Wouldn't that be fucking wild if I open this up and I win a ticket to the Superman movie premiere? Wouldn't that be wild? Here's hoping. Let's see what happens. Because me personally, I'm very excited to read this issue. Because I want to know, like, the first appearance of Crypto. I've never even, like I said, never even thought about it. Smells amazing. All right. We got it open. Sorry. I did not win. Yeah. I didn't win. So yeah, it's like, sorry you didn't win. Use this code at dcuniverseinfinite.com. Blah, 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 for a 30-day free trial to DC Universe's Infinite Monthly Ultra Tier. Auto renewal and other terms apply. Well, at least we got a facsimile version of the first appearance of Crypto. So, to recap, a lot of retailers are pissed about this, but it's out there. Good luck. I hope you win. Batman 619. Hey, it's the 619. Batman 619 in facsimile form. Absolute Flash, bad art, but a really solid story. New Gods continues to do what New Gods has been doing under Rom V's tutelage, which is absolutely be phenomenal. Batman and Robin Year One continues to be awesome. What else we got? We got Detective Comics. Art's solid. Story's solid. It's a solid issue to what's been a really good run. Nightwing. I'm really digging what Dan Waters is doing in the pages of Nightwing right now. And how he's fitting his style in. Wonder Woman, a little lackluster for me this week. We'll see what happens, though, in the future issues that's setting up for. Superman Unlimited was very strong. I liked it. I liked it a lot. Then we got Crypto, the Last Dog of Krypton, retelling the origin of Crypto for super fans today. So, hell yeah. I'm all down for it. And this has been your DC Sneak Peek. All right, let's take a look at the chat. Ooh, sama namani na me no nu. All right, let's go ahead and crack this open as we address the chat before we get into the Action Fest movie reveal. Y'all, smoke them if you got them. Smells so good. My state's outlawing this shit at the end of the month. Pissed me off. They didn't even put it to a vote. You know what I'm saying? They just did. Nope, you can't have weed. So we're gonna smoke them while we can. If I didn't have so much family and friends here, I should move to a place where it's like completely legal. Who lives in a legal state? What's it like? How expensive are apartments there? I'm getting back up to the chat so I can respond to some comments. Someone recently commented on one of my videos. They were like, I don't like how you don't interact with the chat. Talking about the comments, right? I don't respond to comments, right? It's just because, like, really, I just don't have too much time to do that, right? But then somebody stood up and said, yo, go to Rockin Robbie Live. Robbie, like, totally engages with the chat there. Like, that's what Rockin Robbie Live is for. Yeah, we got bits, we do fun things, but seriously, this is it. Like, I'm sorry if I don't respond to your comments, but I will read your comments here and talk about them. Fable talking about the adventures of Ford Fairlane says it's going to be a fun conversation for sure. Dungeon Crawler says you should watch Dead Dudes in the House. Never seen that one. Never heard of that one. Patrick says people forget that Tom King killed Crypto and Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. That dog better not die in that movie. I swear to God. Steph is here. What's up, Steph? Says King also turned Wally into a killer. Some things we want to forget. Yeah. Heroes in Crisis? What the fuck was that? It's best to forget it. Didn't happen, right? Yo, we got Spilio in the house, the man responsible for making everybody go out there and seek out The Adventures of Ford Fairlane, which is not an easy movie to find. So I hope you're ready, John, because I'm ready to talk about it. I've watched it. I'm down. Let's go. Fable's watched it. He's down. Jelani and Brooks, not sure yet. Dynamite says, I was on the fence about Crypto. Now I'm going to try to pick up an issue. I liked the first issue. I thought it was good. It's good to see you in here, Spilio. Miss you. Love you. Big Herm says, I liked Superman Unlimited #1 till the end. I thought, oh boy, he's going to be big already. It was the ending. I'm the exact opposite, Big Herm. I didn't really like it until the ending, but I love the follow-up in issue #2. Eric says, Unlimited #1 didn't do much for me. I'm giving issue #2 a shot, but I'm hoping it ups the ante. I think it does, and I think it's pretty exciting, and I liked it. Link's never been a big Slott fan. I'm kind of up and down on Slott sometimes. I wouldn't consider myself a Dan Slott fan either. But sometimes he winds up on books that I really enjoy. Stu is here from Dr. Doom's Fan Club. Station Gang, Station Robbie. Good evening. Hope everyone's having a great weekend. One more shift till vacay. Let's go. By the way, Spilio, Fable, Link. I see y'all out there in the chat. Anybody else I forgot to mention? Happy Father's Day, y'all. Happy Father's Day. You know what I've been doing lately? Something happened randomly, and I was like in a conversation with somebody, and I started talking about Load and Reload by Metallica. So I decided to go back and revisit those albums, really listen to them again, because I liked them when they first came out. But I remember at the time in the 90s, I think it's like 96, 97, when those albums came out. I remember people telling me, oh, Metallica sold out, they cut their hair, they changed their sound, they're just alternative now, this and that, blah, 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 blah. And so I was like, I wonder what it feels like today as a 44-year-old to go back and revisit Load and Reload, from like, 30 years ago. Shit, almost 30 years ago. Reload, overstuffed. Reload still has some of my favorite tracks, though. I'll be honest with you. I think Unforgiven 2 is underrated. Because a lot of people don't like it just with the audacity of doing a sequel to Unforgiven. But man, I really like Unforgiven 2. It's been in my fucking head for days. Memory Remains is great. Fuel's great. The album just kind of, it's all right. It's a good album. I still like Reload. But I'm going to tell you something. Load is fucking awesome. Load still fucking works, man. Still works. Now, Load wasn't my first Metallica album. It was the first one I owned, though. I bought Load. I remember that very specifically, going to, I think it was a Camelot or some shit like that, and buying Load when it first released. Probably like the first week or two. I didn't get the Black Album until later. And then I didn't even get into the previous albums until later on in my life. And even if somebody asked me, what's your favorite Metallica album? I've always said Kill 'Em All. I don't like being that guy saying their first album's the best, but like, I don't know. There's something about Kill 'Em All. I can put it on and just listen to it all the way through, and I really enjoy that fucking album. I love Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppets too, and Injustice for All. And the Black Album's obviously. And a lot of people, here's the thing that's crazy. A lot of people are like, oh, Metallica sold out at Load. Well, a lot of people were saying that about the Black Album. Like, whatever gets you into music, whatever an artist wants to create, let's fucking do it. I personally like their haircuts. And I think their Load look is their best look, honestly. And I think their best music video is Until It Sleeps. So there's just that. Anyway, Load really still holds its own. I think Load is a fucking fantastic album. It's great. So like you put in Reload and the very first songs are the singles and then it feels like it just kind of gets away from itself. Load, you don't even hear any of the singles until a little bit into it. But man, I'm telling you, Load works for me. I want to know, what do y'all think? Load, Reload, Metallica purists or not? What do you think? Steph says, let's see how many issues of Soup's slot gets in before Cage fills in. 5, 6 is what my guess is. It's gonna happen, though. All right, I'm putting this out because I don't want to smoke this whole thing. We're gonna put it out real quick. We'll get back to you. It's still on fire. I watched LA Beast today drink a 110-year-old Coca-Cola. What the fuck, dude? I mean, I could do shit like that, but I'm not. All right, let's just set that there. Cool. All right, y'all. Back to these comments. Now I'm stoned and I'm just going to fucking be rambling. Eddie says, New Gods is so good right now. You are so right, Eddie. Big Herm says, I like the first issue of Absolute Flash, but didn't care much for the last two. All right. Well, I'm interested to see what you think about this one. It really develops some stuff, I think, that's been needing to be developed, but also answering some questions and setting some stuff up that I don't think that we were really expecting. Eddie says, Peach Momoko seriously needs some praise for being the only artist of all the absolute ultimates to actually do all the issues. Yes, major props out to Peach Momoko, also doing tons of fucking cover work. Also, she's writing the damn book. So yeah. Link says she lets her art do most of the storytelling, for good or for bad. They are quick reads for sure, says Eddie. I agree. Introspect says digital comics will promote physical sales. Eddie says, I use digital comics to preview new series before I spend money buying them. Oh, the premium version of the app. It's, what version of the app is it? I see. It says here. Monthly Ultra Tier is what it says. Ultra Tier, whatever that means. DC reached out to me. They wanted me to do a video about that app when they were launching it, and I just didn't. I was like, this isn't really my thing, so I just didn't do it. They offered me like a free year of it, but I don't like reading digitally. I try not to if I can help it. Eddie says, I used to do digital years ago, now it's all physical. Nicodemus says, make the digital version its own universe. Done. Well, that would be a wild fucking thing to do, right? Yeah, I did not get the golden ticket. Damn, you didn't win it. Put it back and get another one. Dungeon Crawler says Ultra is the premium version. All right. Metal Elf says he's got a golden ticket. Well, is that to Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory or is that to the Superman premiere? Legal there, Eddie? Where are you at? What flavor? Girl Scout cookies. Sativa, allegedly. Southside says, light that shit, Robbie. Flying paper planes all day. Dynamite says, I live in California. Stay away. It's chaos. I've heard. Keep It G wants to know, am I the only one that thought the Superman trailer was mid? You're probably not the only one. I love the Superman trailers. I've loved all of them. I'm so pumped for this movie. I'm very, very excited. to go see this man, Superman, on the big screen. Metal says, I do. Michigan varies a lot. Okay, okay. Oh, Eddie's in Michigan. That's far. It's far from me, man. Link's from Michigan, too. So is Anthony. We got a lot of Michigan guys in here. What's up? Represent Michigan. That's right, Link. Michigan in the house. When is Rook Exodus coming back? No idea, Dungeon Crawler. Jason Fabic is a slow artist, so we'll see. What is next for Darren Warren Johnson? Daniel Warren Johnson. Now that his Transformers run is wrapping, if I had to guess, more creator-owned stuff. He also just wrapped up The Moon is Following Us, so it's probably his next creator-owned work. It's probably what he's... Pretty sure that's what he's going to be focused on. Eric says, 90s era Metallica. Yikes. Link says, oh, thank you, Robbie. It's not easy, but then I see you and realize I'm doing a good job. Eddie says, Fuel is a sick song. Yeah, I love that song. Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire. Ooh, yeah. Song shit fucking hits, man. Introspect says, I heard in a video that they heard in an interview that Rook Exodus starts back up this fall. Didn't get a month. All right, all right. Frankenfrog says, Memory Remains is still a good song. I agree. Metal Elf says, they were a load, all right. Introspect M says there are even people who say The One was selling out. I remember that because the video got a lot of airplay on MTV. It's the first Metallica music video I ever saw, so it might have been the first Metallica song I ever heard. But I was pretty young. And I was really, at that time, into Fresh Prince and Kid and Play, Salt and Pepper. So yeah. Right? That's late 80s, right? Wasn't the One video? That's from Injustice for All. 1988, yeah. Totally Fresh Prince era right there. Kid and Play. To all the people all across the lands, no need to argue. Parents just don't understand. Yo, let me tell you something. You know Will Smith goddamn released a new song? I saw this shit. He released a new music video. It's called like Pretty Girls or some shit like that. And I don't know if I've heard anything from Will Smith since the infamous Chris Rock slap. But I was a huge Will Smith fan growing up, right? I mean, who wasn't, right? So, I mean, Fresh Prince, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, that was the shit, man. He's the DJ, I'm the rapper. Fucking dope album. The song, Summertime, fucking dope song. But then, Will becomes a movie star. And the quality of his music goes down a little bit, okay? Okay? And if you're a big fan of Wild Wild West, Wicka Wicka Wild Wild West, that's fine, that's fine. I'm not hating on you, but I hate on that song. That being said, I was curious, what the fuck is a Will Smith song sound like now? He's in his 50s. What is it? Because I have been tempted by 2 different producers locally to get back in the studio and spit, right? To do like some more hip-hop stuff, to do some more rhyming. And I keep thinking, what the fuck do I want to talk about? Like, what would like in my 20s when I was doing it, like, I was very passionate about the content of my lyrics. What am I passionate about now? What would it be? Man, Will Smith told me, maybe Robbie, stay out of that studio. Because this Pretty Girl song fucking blows. And I'm talking about the dude who did Getting Jiggy With It and the Willennium shit. I'm talking about all that, right? Like, I get it. Getting Jiggy With It. Not a good song. But you know what? If it comes on, it's nostalgic now, and it works. Same thing even with Wild Wild West. Fuck, Men in Black. Great song for a movie. Really not a good Will Smith song, right? So I was talking the other day. I was like, I think the last good song that Will Smith did was Summertime. But aside from that, this Pretty Girls thing is really bad. Like, it's really bad. Like, I brought my homie Scott into the office. I was like, hey, man, I just watched this new Will Smith music video, and I need somebody to feel this pain with me. So I watched it again. It sucks. Have y'all seen that? It really sucks. It's bad. It's really bad. It's like Fisher Price fucking rhymes, nursery school shit. So stupid, and it almost seems like an obvious attempt to try to seem cool again after all of the shit that has been thrown on them lately. It's bad. If you think Metallica in the 90s is bad, stay away from this Will Smith fucking music video. I'll just say that. Chokos loves Master of Puppets. Dungeon Crawler says Garage Days is pretty good. Garage Inc. Yeah, I remember like that. That was all right. Like covers and shit like that. That was all right. Dynamite says favorite Metallica album was Ride the Lightning. Megadeth versus Metallica. I had some Megadeth stuff, but Metallica was always more of into what I was doing. I never really super got into Megadeth. Eddie says, definitely prefer early 80s Metallica, but don't hate on Load and Reload, but it's a totally different style of music. I can feel that. Bob Fisher is here and excited for Battle Beast 2. It comes out this week. Link says, where do you get a Coke that old? LA Beast knows where. I guess he's the guy to find this shit. Anthony says, I don't know, but Seek and Destroy is dope and Sting's theme song in WCW and AEW. Dynamite says the S&M album was pretty awesome too. I really like S&M. Bob says the Ultra app helps him decide what he wants to buy physically. Can't experiment if they're all $5 a pop. Hell yeah. Ultra app got me into Martian Manhunter. Now I've bought them all. Yeah, I think digital leads into physical sales. Bob likes the Saint Anger album. My homie was telling me to revisit Saint Anger, and I think Brooks at one point was revisiting Saint Anger like a few months or a year ago or so, and I tried, and I just could not get into it. Metal Elf says, I feel like I stare at screens too much as it is to justify digital reading. Fable says, summertime still slaps. Summer, summer, summertime. Hell yeah. Summer's almost here, y'all. I mean, technically it's here for everybody pretty much, but not officially yet. That happens this weekend. Rank all the Batman villains. Well, number 2's got to be Two-Face, and number 1 is Bane, for me, personally. Then I guess you could put Joker in there and some shit like that, but I can't rank them all. There's way too many. Nightmare on My Street. Oh, Eddie, you're speaking to my soul right now. I love that one. Link says, Will Smith is corny now as a rapper, but I respect he still does it. Have you watched the video yet? Man. Have you watched the video, Steph? Be a comic book rapper like Czarface. I don't know if I want to be one of those nerdy rappers. That's like, with this one dude, this one producer, like, we do like nerdcore shit. I was like, I don't know about that, man. That's not really what I ever did. Look up Will Smith Lemonade Freestyle. Okay. I will. Summer, summer, summertime. It'll give you cringe vibes for him. Oh my God. Fable says those Megadeth posters were awesome. Eddie says, the thing that should not be my favorite Metallica song. Fable says, Murder on My Mind. When do we get to hear more unreleased Robbie rap songs? I don't know if there's anything that's been unreleased that hasn't been played. I can give you a link to some stuff. I'll give you the link to our album, which you can stream and even download, I believe, for free. And this link also has our very last song we ever did together, me and my homie in the basement show. So there you go. If you want to check out some of my music from back in the day, it's not all great. Trust me. Eddie says the number 1 Batman villain is Crazy Quilt. MF Doom, forever the king. I love me some MF Doom. Hell yeah. Bob says, Bane, what an amazing absolute Batman. I fucking loved that issue. Dungeon Crawler says, Of Wolf and Man is my favorite Metallica song. Mine is probably that, what is it just called Four Horsemen? Or is it called The Horsemen? Yeah, The Four Horsemen from Kill 'Em All. And I don't want to be that guy like, Kill 'Em All is the best Metallica album. Man, like I said, I can put that album to me is like, Nevermind the Bollocks. Here Come the Sex Pistols. It's just an album that never gets old to me. I can put it on and just fucking listen to it. It's great. But don't sleep on Load, man. I have never heard of him, Anthony, but yeah, I'm in Huntsville, so that's interesting. Right now, Dynamite is number 1 on the fan list. Anthony is number 2. Metal Elf is number 3. In case you're interested. Dungeon Crawler wants to remind everybody that sleeping on loads is not good. That's how you get pink eye. See, that was like a Kevin Smith joke. He literally did a pink eye joke in that Spider-Man book. And I criticize him for it, but I did it. I took the easy, low-hanging fruit. I guess my name's not on the Spider-Man book, though. So there you go. That's the difference, right? A little bit of a difference. Super sort of human. No, I've never heard of him. Cool. I am tempted to get into the studio because I got 2 guys wanting to do some shit. And I'm tempted, but man, I just don't know. Like I'm in a part of my life where I'm kind of happy. So I don't know what I would like have to write about. You know what I'm saying? The trials of getting my star ID. How about that? Yeah. Hey, what's up, nerd without order? What the fuck, you in Huntsville? I'm over in Hutto. What's Hutto? You talking about Texas? What are you talking about? Or is that what you call in Huntsville? I don't know. I'm confused now. But yeah, man. If you're like, oh, Huntsville, Alabama. You probably think I'm thinking Texas. Saying Texas. I'm in Alabama. Dynamite's number 1 right now, y'all. What's up with that? Hell yeah. Pretty dope. Good for you, buddy. Big Herm says, yeah, you not in Huntsville, Texas. Yeah, I'm not in Texas. I'm sorry, nerd. Big Herm says, I enjoyed the absolute Batman number 9, but Bane was already huge and juiced himself even more. How in the hell does Batman get out of this pickle? Bane already dominated Batman. Yeah, that's why it was badass. Yeah, Batman is already this big. So now you got to have Bane be even bigger. And then when he juices up, motherfucker, that shit was an abomination, man. And I love that the issue is called Abomination. The story is called Abomination because that's what Graham Nolan, I believe, said about the Bane design when he saw it. Whatever. Nick Dragata doing Nick Dragata's best. Ha ha! Some good shit. All right, y'all. We still got 2 bits to do. We still got to reveal Action Fest, and we've got to do Marvel in the 90s. So we're going to be right back. We're going to take a break. When we come back, the Action Fest movie reveal for 2025. All 8 shows are revealed, but more than 8 movies will be covered, as well as Marvel in the 90s. Here on Rockin Robbie Live, we'll be right back.
Pay attention! We're starting now! Go!
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Rockin Robbie Live here on Pop Culture Philosophers. We've had a great show already. Just shooting the shit, basically. That's what we're doing. Just having fun talking about comics, movies, pop culture, and a whole lot more. We delivered the DC sneak peek, and that's pretty much all we've done. We still got to do Marvel in the 90s and the reveal of the Action Fest 2025 lineup, including the Van Damme poll winner, which has already been announced over at the PCP Army. Speaking of the PCP Army, that's the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. You should join it if you're on Facebook. Follow Pop Culture Philosophers there. Also on Instagram. Instagram's probably where we're the most active there, and the PCP Army in Facebook. You can find me on X at the Rockin Robbie, though I'm very rarely there. Also, popculturephilosophers.com for merch. You can get mugs, you can get t-shirts, Pop Culture Philosophers, all that shit. Why do we not have a PCPX line of shirts and merch yet? Fuck, I'm really bad at this YouTube thing. We've been doing it 10 years in 2 weeks. 2 weeks is the official 10th anniversary of PCP, so join us on July 2nd for the grand extravaganza of the 10th anniversary celebration. Yeah, let's say that. If you want to support the channel, you can join Patreon, patreon.com/PCP, like these fine PCP generals right there. What does that give you? Well, it gives you one thing, basically, aside from just supporting your favorite YouTube channel and your favorite YouTuber and content creator. That's probably me, right? It's not. I'm not even my favorite. All right. But anyway, patreon.com/PCP, you get access in a downloadable audio file to the weekly comic book review like an hour or two before it drops here on YouTube. So that's what I got. So if you want to be able to download it and just put it in your ear and like walk around with it or some shit, you can do it there. That's all I got right now, man. We were trying to do those live watch-alongs, but nobody showed up to them, so what can you do? Anyway, so you can also do that, or you can support the channel with Super Chat. That's right. We haven't gotten a Super Chat tonight, which is fine. Because all the support we need is a like, a share, and a subscribe. But if anybody wants to do a super chat, I'll sing some Metallica. All right. Coming up tomorrow night on PCP Movie Night, we're in the midst of Crew's Choice, and it is John Spiliotopoulos' pick, The Adventures of Ford Fairlane, an impossible movie to find, but definitely going to be a fun conversation. That's tomorrow night at 8 p.m. here on Pop Culture Philosophers. All right. I was checking our stats the other day. We're very close, inching our way closer and closer to 5 million views. I think when that happens, I need a t-shirt that says, I have 5 million views on YouTube. What do y'all think? I realize that we're never going to get the YouTube button. You got to get 100K subscribers for that. It's probably never going to happen. Right? I mean, we're almost a quarter of the way there, but it took us 10 years to get here. So, shit, bruh. That's probably not going to happen. However, I could make myself a t-shirt that says I got 5 million views on YouTube. And then some jackass kid playing Minecraft's going to be like, I got 25. Fuck you, kid. Get out of here. 25 million views on like 3 videos or some shit. I'm working my ass off. Y'all wonder why I turned heel. All right, let's take a look at the chat. See ya, Eddie. Well, he's already gone, but later. Acres, I do like pomegranates. I really do. But I like them better when they're already, like, prepared for me. I don't like preparing a pomegranate, but I do like them. Keanu, what is up, my man? How you doing? Anyone waiting for RoboWolf #2? Such a fun read. Yeah, I loved RoboWolf. Was the pick of the week. I heard it has been delayed or some shit, but man, super excited. That book was great, and I don't care how long it takes. I guess Jake to do it. Is it Jake Smith? Right? I think, maybe. I don't care how long it takes him to do it. Just do it right, and I will love that book forever. Oh, damn, it got delayed all the way to October. Keep It G says, thanks for the link. Make a diss song to everything that irritates you about the comic book industry. Well, you know what? That wouldn't be too bad of an idea, because if I dropped a music video of me talking shit about everything that irritates me about the comic book industry and did it well enough, I think it would be pretty good. And I think people would like it. So that's not a bad idea. That's not what I want to rhyme about. I like to rhyme about, like, to me, I always like to rhyme about, well, first of all, I love brag rap. So brag rap is great. You know, basically, like, where your lyrics are just like, I'm the greatest. That kind of shit. I really love that. But I always liked having themes for my songs. So I always liked, for instance, we'd be like, oh, this song's going to be about, like, just, like, talking shit about haters. Like, people that are, like, trying to keep you down. All the people that don't believe in you. We're going to do that. But instead of just being, like, a song about haters, we're going to make it about vampires and werewolves and zombies and shit. You know, like, or like use it as a metaphor, right? So I like doing stuff like that. We did write one song in response to the Bush administration. It's called It Does Matter, and I think it's a good song, but it's so dated because of it, because it's so in potential about that one presidency. Anyway, there's a love song on there too called Muse that I'm very embarrassed about. I was super into a chick, and it wasn't working out. And I thought, man, what if I wrote a song about her? It's some of the most navel-gazy shit I've ever written. Anyway, moving on. But yeah, doing a song about the comic book industry. Or maybe just doing a Rockin Robbie song. Maybe not talking shit about the comic book industry. Maybe I could sprinkle some of that in there. But, like, that'd be pretty dope, right? Like I got the equipment now. Like, I could fucking record a music video for, like, a song. You know, like, I'm Rockin Robbie. Comics is more than just a hobby. That sounded like some Will Smith shit, y'all. I really got to, like, think about if I want to write any more lyrics. But I did come up with a chord progression the other day that I liked a lot. So, that's usually how it starts with me. Hitting a certain tone with a chord progression, and then what does that vibe tell me? Like, what's that speaking to me? A lot of her songs were about, like, spiritual type shit, too. We like that. But we weren't Christian rappers. Don't be mistaken. Choco says, it says RoboWolf 2 release date to be determined. It looks like Chocos is now number 1. Yep, Choco's number 1, Dynamite's number 2, and Anthony is number 3. Come on, y'all, get those chats in. Fable says, go for it. I have 5 million views on YouTube. Yes, we'll be at 100K in 30 more years. We can do it. Yeah, I'll be fucking 84. No, I'll only be 74. Well, then they'll be like, sorry guys, we're discontinuing the YouTube button program. You're welcome, Eddie. Anthony says, your channel is the best one. You and Comics Explained. Station Rob. Rob's a cool guy. He was on the channel one time. You can look it up. Rockin Robbie Live with Comics Explained. He was a super cool dude. How would I rank the absolute books? Keanu's asking y'all, but I'll tell you this. Weakest to me, Green Lantern. So Green Lantern at number 6. Number 5, Flash. Number 4... Oh, this is where it gets tricky. At number 4 right now, I will go with Superman. Then I'll go Batman at number 3. Wonder Woman at number 2. Martian Manhunter at number 1. Why are vegans the only group of people you openly mock, but you say you're an animal lover? Okay. First of all, I think I openly mock many groups of people. And in fact, I don't feel like I've openly mocked vegans. There was a time, I remember. First of all, I was a vegetarian for over 5 years in my life. I'm no longer a vegetarian. I am an omnivore again. But I was a vegetarian. I do love animals. I am a proud cat father. And I have never killed an animal myself. I've eaten the flesh of animals, though, that other people have killed for me. But that being said, there was a particular instance where I was making a joke about people saying the same shit all the time about Rob Liefeld. Because the point, so basically this is what happened. There was a weekly comic book review. And I was reviewing a Rob Liefeld book. And I was like, I know the people that hate Rob Liefeld are going to say the same thing. In fact, do you know how you can tell when someone doesn't like Rob Liefeld? Well, it's like that joke about vegans. Don't worry, they'll tell you. First of all, the vegan joke is not my joke. I didn't create that joke. I was using a well-known joke to make a point about Rob Liefeld haters. Don't worry, a Rob Liefeld hater will let you know. As soon as you start talking about Rob Liefeld, the number one thing you're going to hear from anybody is, he can't draw feet. He can't draw feet. Do you know Rob Liefeld can't draw feet? Do you know that? Do you know Rob Liefeld can't draw feet? First of all, he can. Number 2, sometimes he does it poorly. Number 3, sometimes he hides it. You be a comic book artist. Tell me how much you like drawing feet. Drawing feet fucking sucks. Okay? So, yeah. But Rob Liefeld can't draw feet. And to me, that is an uninformed opinion because that's just a mimic of what you've already heard. So my point in that was using that famous joke about vegans to make a point about he can't draw feet people. That was my point there. If I offended any vegan, I sincerely apologize. I believe everybody has the right to whatever lifestyle they choose. Whether it's a sexual lifestyle, whether it's a nutrition lifestyle, I don't care. Like, if you ain't hurting other people, you good. You good with me. I got no problem with no beef with vegans. But I do got a problem with those motherfuckers that are always like, Rob Liefeld can't draw feet. Do you know that? Do you know that Rob Liefeld can't draw feet? That man can't draw feet. He can't draw feet. He can sell 5 million copies of a single comic, but he can't draw feet. You know that? I fucking hate that shit. I hate that shit so much. It's so... I hate when people just repeat the fucking thing that everybody always fucking says or heard. And you know what? That's why I was ashamed of myself for making that fucking... What was that joke I said earlier? I did a pink eye joke. I did a pink eye joke. Yep. Yeah. Don't sleep in your load. You'll get pink eye. I'm just like the guy who's saying, well, you know Rob Liefeld can't draw feet. Do you know that? By the way, I got this box of X-Force. You want to buy it? Fuck off. But also, I have no problem with vegans. I wasn't trying to make a joke about vegans. I was trying to use a joke about vegans to make a joke about, I can't draw, you Rob Liefeld can't draw feet. That thing. Anyway, now I've over-explained myself too much. All right, moving on. Keep It G says, your music video could go viral. I know. That's why I'm considering it now. Instead of, I'll do a riff on Will Smith's Pretty Girls, and I'll be like Nuanced Comics or some shit like that. Bombastic Comics. Anthony likes Batman and Superman the most out of the absolute books. Herm would say Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, Flash, Green Lantern, Martian Manhunter at the fucking end, Herm? You piece of shit. Get the fuck out of here. What's wrong with you? That's the best. Herm, do you even know anything? I'm sorry, now I've offended all the Herms out there in the world. Hey, Sleepy Reader 666 Station, my man. How you doing? Good to see you here. Hey, Big Herm, you're number one now in the top fans. But not here. Not with that Martian Manhunter ranking. That's low, man. That's low. Eric says, Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter, Superman, Batman. I guess he doesn't give a shit about Flash or Green Lantern. Yeah, I repeated the vegan joke. It's a very popular joke, brother. Everybody knows that joke. It's a very popular joke. I didn't create it, but I'll fucking repeat it. Why not? Don't test me now. Sometimes the classics are the best. Vegan feet are the best. Robbie finally used his real accent. Do you know Rob Liefeld can't draw feet? Do you know that? That guy can't draw feet. That guy can't draw feet. That's crazy, man. Liefeld should be doing the Deadpool Batman crossover instead of Zeb Wells, in my opinion. Well, he's kind of burned his 8th bridge with Marvel right now. So, yeah, it's not. That ain't going to happen. That being said, Grant and Dan doing the DC one? That's insanely crazy. I'm very excited to see what that's going to be like. Yeah, the Jason Todd comic was dope. Stu says, Martian Manhunter behind GL and Flash is wildly vindictive. The Liefeld joke is popular too, double standard. Okay. Cool. All right, it's time for the reveal of the Action Fest lineup, y'all. We have Fable joining us this year for Action Fest. First time we've ever had another channel join us for Action Fest. Now, the first time we ever had another channel join us for anything was a March Madness, I believe in 2021. We had Dylan join. Since then, we've had Dylan join for every Horror Fest, every March Madness. We've had Verno at Blood Splatter Chatter. This last March Madness, we had Fable join up for that. He had so much fun, and I'm like, hey, bruh, you want to join in for Action Fest and make it even better than ever? All right, he said. So Fable is here to talk. No, he's here right now in the room. Hey, Fable, get over here and talk. No, I'm just kidding. Fable is now here to join for Action Fest. Do you guys know that Rob Liefeld can't draw feet? Anyway, so... No, I don't know shit either, Herm. Don't worry. None of us do. All right. Action Fest starts on... It'd be great if I knew the date. It's the first Monday of July. I'll just go to it, damn it. July 7th. So July 7th starts Action Fest on Monday night on PCP Movie Night. Fable will be doing his shows on Tuesday nights. So the first two shows, the first week will be the 7th and the 8th. The second week will be the 13th, which is a Sunday night. For the 13th, I'm going to Monday Night Raw on the 14th. So we're doing a special Sunday time for that. And then the 15th. Then the 21st and the 22nd. Then the 28th and the 29th. So kicking it off here at PCP Movie Night on July 7th for Action Fest, y'all. The Raid Redemption plus The Raid 2. These movies were sent to me by Two Gun Pedro, his humble request for Action Fest of this year, and we have given him and granted him his wish, right? So The Raid Redemption is what he wanted us to cover, but everybody said might as well do part 2, so we're kicking it off with a double feature on PCP Movie Night, The Raid Redemption and The Raid 2. The following night, over at One Collection Down, I Come in Peace will be the debut of Fable into Action Fest on his channel. I've never seen this movie, but it seems pretty freaking cool. All right, next up on that special Sunday show on July 13th, we're covering Blade 2. We had a grand old time last year talking about Blade in Action Fest, but Blade 2 is one of the greatest movie sequels of all time. That same week on Tuesday, talking about comic books, Fable's going to be talking about Wanted, based on the Mark Miller J.G. Jones book, I believe. J.G. Jones, right? Yes. Wanted for Action Fest on One Collection Down. Next up, the winner of the Van Damme 2025 Action Fest movie poll, Hard Target. We'll be talking about Jean-Claude Van Damme's Hard Target here on PCP Movie Night. That following Tuesday, The Chronicles of Riddick over at One Collection Down starring Vin Diesel. We have covered Pitch Black here on the channel. We've never covered Chronicles of Riddick. I'm sure Fable's going to have a great show. Then we wrap it all up the last week for PCP Movie Night, the Terminator franchise. We're talking about all the Terminator live action films, no TV series, nothing like that. But the Terminator franchise here on PCP Movie Night. I think there's like 6 or 7 of them now. Something like that. And then the true finale is over at One Collection Down. I'll be joining him on this Tuesday night show to talk about True Romance, directed by Tony Scott, from a script by Quentin Tarantino. So that is your Action Fest lineup for 2025. Let's go through it again. Kicking off July 7th, we got The Raid Redemption and The Raid 2. That following Tuesday, I Come in Peace on One Collection Down. Then on a special Sunday presentation, Blade 2 here on PCP Movie Night. Then on that Tuesday, Wanted at One Collection Down. Then the following Monday, Hard Target, the Van Damme poll winner here on PCP Movie Night. Chronicles of Riddick the very next night on Tuesday. And then to wrap it all up, the Terminator franchise here on PCP Movie Night. And True Romance on One Collection Down. Let's roll that beautiful movie footage. Very cool to have Fable joining us for Action Fest this year. Very cool. I'm really looking forward to it, y'all. Because you know what my favorite thing about Action Fest is? When Action Fest is over, it's time for Horror Fest, baby. Horrorfest. I don't know what everybody else is doing yet, but I know what I'm doing. The PCP lineup, and it's going to be fucking great. I think I have one of the most solid PCP movie night lineups for Horrorfest of all time, but we'll see. All right. Let's take a look at the chat. I want to know what y'all thought about that. Big Herm says, Fable's in Alabama. Why didn't you tell me? Stu says the Raid plus Fable with the killer lineup. Action Fest 2025 is nothing but heaters. Hell yeah. I agree, Metal Elf. I don't know Jack. Shit. Or, what is it? You only got two things, Jack and shit, and Jack just left town. Some shit like that. Hallway and bathroom scenes are top 5 all action. Raid and Raid 2 are so fucking good. You know, I've never seen those movies. And I think that's one of the reasons why Two Gun sent them to me, so that I would finally watch them. And we're watching them and we're covering them. 9-Panel Grid says, Blade 2, hell yes. Two Gun Pedro says, the Raid 1 and 2, let's fucking go. Metal Elf says, Wanted was such a letdown to me. It'd be an interesting one to revisit though now, right? Pete says, I Come in Peace is awesome. It's crazy campy, but so much fun. Have I seen the new Marvel fighting game they revealed? I've seen some bits from it, but I haven't really paid too much attention for it. Two Gun Pedro says, bangers for Action Fest. Metal Elf says, some really good flicks. Dynamite says, anyone excited for the new He-Man? I'm cautiously optimistic about it. You talking about the movie? I'm right there with you. I'm cautiously optimistic, but we'll see. 9-Panel Grid says, it's been a while since I've seen it, but I think that McG Terminator was all right. Okay. Choco says, Terminator and T2 are awesome. Of course. Keanu says, this will be his first Action Fest. Well, hell yeah. Thank you for joining in. And be sure, don't forget, there's plenty of Action Fest that came before. You can always check out. We've covered Mission Impossible franchise. We've covered the Bourne franchise. We've covered the Die Hard franchise, the Lethal Weapon franchise. We've covered a lot of Tom Cruise movies, a lot of Van Damme movies. We've had a lot of fun on Action Fest. Big Herm says, yes, it's awesome to have Fable on Action Fest. Fable says, thanks for letting me join. Hope to see you all there. Sleepy Reader 666 is getting a little nitty gritty and saying that's sci-fi action. Yeah, there's a lot of science fiction in there too. But it's still Action Fest. Come on, Damien, man. Don't make me Rob Liefeld can't draw feet you. Introspect says, I'm looking forward to the new He-Man. Hope it puts a good foot forward. Keanu says, Blade 2 was fucking dope. I agree. Metal Elf says, not familiar with the Raid. Apparently it's one of the greatest action films of all time. So I think me and you should both watch it. And then you should watch me talk about it. Frankenfrog says, for October, I do the 24 Days of Do, where I watch a Scooby-Doo theme a day. Oh, that's cool. You do like a Scooby-Doo episode a day? That's really cool. We do Horror Fest, and we do it August, September, and October. Sometimes it carries over into November. Keep It G says, Raid 1 might have the most broken bones in a movie ever. Well, you're definitely getting me riled up for it. Dugan says, you will not be disappointed in the Raid. Dynamite says, I've never even heard of the Raid. Definitely going to have to check it out. Starscream says, the Raid is amazing. Anthony Davis says, you ever seen Miller's Crossing? I'm a super huge Coen Brothers fan. One of our podcasts we did was all about the Coen Brothers. So yes, I've seen Miller's Crossing, and I love it. Gabriel Byrne's great in that movie. No John Woo movies in Action Fest. Sacrilege, I say, says Metal Elf. Well, we have covered John Woo before. We've covered, let's see, Mission Impossible 2, and we've covered Face Off. John Woo Fest? Yeah, man, maybe. I'd love to do some John Woo. Are all of those movies sci-fi action? Now Damien's got me fucking That's not sci-fi action. That seems to be sci-fi action. That's sci-fi action. That's kind of sci-fi action. I don't think that's sci-fi action, if I remember correctly. That's sci-fi action for sure. That's definitely sci-fi action. That's not sci-fi action. So it's not all sci-fi action. Just wanted to make sure. Did John Woo do Hard Target? No way. Did he? Holy shit. What do you know, Metal Elf? We are doing a John Woo movie. Hard Target. I didn't even know that that was a Woo film. We are doing a John Woo movie. Boom. Pop, pop. Oh my God. Dynamite says, anyone know where the raid is streaming? Save me a Google search. Starscream says, Robbie, besides Soups and Lex, who else are you excited to see in the new flick, the new Superman movie? Green Lantern, Guy Gardner, Nathan Fillion. Yeah, I could see us doing a Woo Fest. Keanu says, dude, Halloween Horror Nights doing a Fallout house is wild. Yeah, I heard they're doing a Fallout part of their haunted house. Yep, there's all the John Woo did do Hard Target. Interesting. The Killer is the greatest action movie of all time, says Metal Elf. I've not seen that one. Please be sure to watch the director's cut of what? The Raid or Hard Target? What are we talking about? Two Gun says The Raid 1 and 2 is streaming on Pluto TV. Who are you most excited to see at Raw? Burn it down! Oh, 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 oh. Seth freaking Rollins. However, I do believe that he'll have a new theme song at the point, so I won't get to do the oh. So I'm really hoping to see Seth Rollins, and because of that, obviously, Braun Breaker. I want to see Braun Breaker spear the shit out of someone. That's what I would like to see. So I'd be really excited for that, and I hope that Jay makes an appearance because I'd like to yeet all over the place. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, Jay Uso, just because of that. And it would be cool if CM Punk's there. But the number one thing, and I don't know if this would happen, but I am going right after Saturday night's main event. I would love it if John Cena was there. That would be the number one thing, but I don't know. I don't think John Cena will be there for a Monday Night Raw in Birmingham, Alabama. But Seth will probably be there, and I'm very, very excited for that. I guess, do they beforehand let you know who's going to be there? Seeing CM Punk would be cool too. That'd be cool too. All right, we still got to do Marvel in the 90s shit. You stacked it. But I backed it. Talking about your Kickstarter, man, but I ain't seen it, man. Let me tell you what a man. Yeah, I need to really think hard before I get back in the studio. Who am I even right now? Am I heel Robbie? Am I face Robbie? Am I Robbie at all? Am I some guy named Nicodemus or Ezekiel? Or why am I just saying books of the Bible? Or Nicodemus isn't a book in the Bible, it's a character in the Bible. Yeah. Oh, I love Seth's new stable. They're going to get a name and a new theme song or some shit coming soon. Austin Theory versus CM Punk. Is that what's going on? Big Herm says, it's awesome you're going to a Raw. Enjoy, brother. It'll be my first Raw. My first one ever. So I'm very, very excited. Raw and SmackDown were both near us in that same weekend. They're in Nashville the Friday before. And it's the Friday before Saturday night's main event. So if I would have thought about that, maybe that would have been the better choice for a John Cena appearance. However, I watch and follow Raw more. I'm more into Raw. So I really wanted to go to Raw. Even though if I went on a Friday night, it doesn't change anything. But going on a Monday night really affects my life because that's FOC and PCP movie night, my Dynamite show. And it might be the first time I actually have to miss a Dynamite show. So. Oh, The Vision? That's a perfect name for them. That's a perfect name. I think I've heard that Braun and Bronson are going to call themselves the Big Dogs when they tag team. That's what I've heard. Robbie went full Jim Carrey. I've been accused of that. Braun Breaker is hella funny. I love that dude. The way he spears makes the spear seem like something, man. Really does. Oh, I'd like to see Gunther. And maybe they're building up to the Goldberg thing, but I think the Goldberg thing might have already happened. Because I think that might be set up for the July Saturday Night Main Event, I think. Or something else. I don't fucking know. Got priced out of SummerSlam here in New York, shaking my head. I believe that, Herm. Luckily, a Raw in Birmingham's not too much, but we're way the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna see me on TV. But I'm excited to go there. I'm gonna bring some merch, or I want to buy some merch. So super chats would be very beneficial. Anybody want to help me buy a T-shirt or some shit at Raw? I don't need to buy a T-shirt there, but I want to buy something. I want to buy something there, like as a replica from the time I went and saw Raw. I've seen wrestling before back in the early '90s, but it was one of those, like, I think it was Saturday Night Main Event. There was something that they did in Huntsville in the '90s. Ultimate Warrior was there. I remember that. It was fucking crazy to me. I loved it. I bought like an Ultimate Warrior fucking head, like, face mask, like cardboard face mask, and I bought like a styrofoam belt. Oh, I love Ron Killings. Yeah, I saw that, Anthony. So good. So good. So dope. So dope. All right. Am I too high to do Marvel in the 90s? No. All right, here we go. All right, it's time to go back. How far back in time to the 90s with our favorite segment, which we like to affectionately call Marvel in the 90s. And today we're talking about Wolverine 136. Why? Because we're going through the brief Eric Larson run of Wolverine from the late 90s. So right now we are in the tail end of 98 into 1999. We are now in the midst of this Great Escape story arc that Eric Larson is doing, along with artist Jeff Matsuda. Now, so far, I've liked the first issue, but each issue seems to get just a little bit more clunky, more rushed, more just kind of not fully tied together, if that makes sense. This issue continues that pattern. It really does. Now, we noticed that in the last two issues, that was a bi-weekly month, so they did 2 issues in the month. So I understand them falling a little bit behind. Though Jeff Matsuda is still here on the book, so is Eric Larson, but he does have a co-writer, or should I say a scripter for this one. But let's first of all talk about that cover. Sean Chin was doing some really solid Iron Man work at this time, but this cover, I've never liked the way Wolverine looks here. It doesn't seem to fit into Sean's style. It didn't work for me then. It does not work for me now. Those claws look incredibly short, and there's just some weirdness with the pose and the size and proportion. But we're promised Alone Against the Cosmic Power of the Collector. It's not quite what we get in this book, but what do we get? All right, so we are in the Collector's prison planet. So the story so far has been a woman who can jump from body to body has escaped the Collector's prison planet and come to Earth, hijacked Wolverine's body, brought him to help them out and do a big prison planet break, right? Also imprisoned on this collecting planet are the Starjammers. So we start back with the Starjammers. This is a pretty decent first page. That dude, what's his name? Chode? Or some shit? What's his name? Chode? I don't know. I remember some of these action figures, but it's always cool to see the Starjammers here. But they're all waiting because Raza is off being interrogated or something. He shows back up. He's fine, but he's like, man, I found out some information you're going to want to know. Then we cut to basically building back up to where we left Wolverine. Wolverine was out there trying to do the Lord's work, and then he was stopped by this armored alien being, right? And so that's what we're building back into. So this is a big recap page that's just telling us everything that happened, right? And then we get the title page. And honestly, there's a piece of me that really doesn't like this Jeff Matsuda Wolverine on this page. When I was younger, a teenager, reading this, I didn't like it then. But there is something that is kind of appealing to me about the weird, wonky nature of this Wolverine. And maybe that's what Sean's trying to do, is his Jeff Matsuda Wolverine on the cover. But we have here revealed that Eric Stevenson, who is now the publisher of Image Comics, he was a scripter of Rob Liefeld's back in the Youngblood days. He's gone on to be one of the most important and powerful figures in the comic book industry. He scripts this for Eric, and Eric even says, "Thanks, pal," or something like that. All right. So Wolverine's being confronted by basically a henchman of the Collector. So they're having a little bit of a square off. I like that page, but then you get into some no backgrounds, super extreme close-ups, not a lot of like storytelling going on here, but it's just more of the same, right? Like dude telling him, Wolverine, you don't know what you're talking about. Wolverine's like, I'm gonna like blah, 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 blah. And so they're just talking shit to each other. That continues on into this next page, right? They're just trying to figure out what to do. They're trying to talk it all out or whatever. And really, we just want some action. We just want some action at this point. That's what you got Jeff Matsuda, you got Eric Larson, right? With the potential of like thumbnails or layouts or something, right? You got Eric Stevenson, who's a pretty good scripter, and his scripting is decent here, but it just feels like it's a lot of talk and a little bit not a lot of show, right? So then we build into the next page. Once again, we see the shortcuts all over the place. Jeff Matsuda was his own inker for this as well, but I'm not blaming him. And here's the thing. At this time, I was not a Jeff Matsuda fan. However, re-looking at this has turning me into one, even though I think some of this feels rushed and clunky. But I think that's just because of the schedule. But it continues on, right? And then we get this snippet outside of the prison planet. There's this giant like electrical being. I think this is the dude that's in the Eric Larson like Revenge of the Sinister Six story or whatever the hell it is. I think that's this dude, but I'm not sure. What's his name? Anybody remember this dude's name? I don't remember this. They don't talk. He just shows up. People are standing off with him, and then it just kind of ends and just abruptly goes back to the next thing. So like this is a setup for something, but it just doesn't really let me know what's going on. Then we get another page of some people talking shit. Turns out this armored dude is from the tail end of the Jack Kirby Stan Lee run. So Eric Larson really likes his Jack Kirby. We know that just based on his style. You can see the influence clear as day. And it's cool that he's playing with some of these kind of forgotten concepts and characters from that era. We see something else show up later on, right? But then just more talking, more explaining. The basic premise is this. Wolverine, you don't know what you're talking about. This may be a prison planet, but it's a prison planet that you don't quite understand all the politics of what's going on. A lot of talking, a lot of setting up for very little action. Then we finally have a little bit of action, right? Nobody trusts Wolverine. This dude punches, starts throwing down. There's a little bit of a fight there. And it's decent, but it's not what we want. We just had a whole issue where Wolverine was like taking on all of these like street level Marvel characters. And now you're just kind of getting some weak kind of stuff that feels like it's rather thrown together. But then Wolverine eventually gets overwhelmed and taken out. And then we go into a being who is going to lock, I think her name is Arya, the alien who can jump from body to body, who has hijacked Wolverine's body. She is having her powers taken away. And this dude is, what's his race called? They're ovoids. And I'm pretty sure that the ovoids, I remember this very early Jack Kirby, Stan Lee stuff in Fantastic Four. So that was cool. And then we get back to Wolverine and these people that have captured him. They've captured her. These dudes have captured Wolverine. He's ready to throw down. They're all just talking shit. That's what's going on. And he's trying to get these people together to do a prison break, right? So then the armored dude, I don't even remember his name. I should have paid more attention when I was reading this, but it was kind of like a drag to get through because stuff happens, but this is literally just getting Wolverine from one point to another point, and it doesn't really have a lot of dynamic action. Feels like a filler issue for sure. But he shows up and tells the Collector that Wolverine's going to try to plan a prison break and all that stuff. And he's like, well, don't worry. You know, it's going to be fine. It's going to be a miracle if he even makes it through the night. And then we end with the Starjammers having a conversation saying, yeah, Wolverine's going to cause a prison breakout. And we know something he doesn't. And we got to stop Wolverine because this breakout would be bad for everybody. So that sets up the next issue where I guess it's been built up into for like 2 issues now that the Starjammers are going to confront Wolverine because they haven't confronted each other yet. The cover tells us that it's the Collector alone against Wolverine, or Wolverine alone against the Collector. It's not quite what's going on, but it's it's the weakest issue so far. It's just like the last issue where not a lot. I love that Blade advertisement. So freaking cool. It doesn't really get a whole lot done. You know, it like sets more up of the Starjammers thing, and then it kind of just sets that up a little bit more, which we were already setting up. It does that a little bit more. It just moves Wolverine from one place to another. Look at that ad right there for when they were releasing the 60s Marvel animated stuff on VHS. They would take like, I think artwork from like Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko and shit and just like crudely animate it. But this issue was all right. I love that early ad for Earth X. Earth X is something we definitely should go through. Marvel in the 90s. I remember this ad for the Mark Bagley Spider-Man credit card. But yeah, the issue is a letdown. It's not that great. It's okay. Even some stuff they're setting up here, they don't really get into it or explain what happens and how we transition from here to here. So it's a little bit clunky. And I feel like maybe with the schedule or something like that, I always love looking at the bullpen bulletins and stuff in these old comics. This was a great era for that. I really liked the Stan Soapbox and all of the bulletins and just like the what's coming up next week and shit like that, or what's out this week or some shit. Anyway, the art's sparse. It's just I feel like the writing and the art were falling behind, and these last 2 issues could have easily been one combined story that probably would have been a more powerful and impactful story. Look at that Overpower ad right there. I tried playing the Overpower card game. I just could not get into it. Card games were not my thing until I kind of learned to play Magic a little bit. But yeah, artwork is subpar. Story's got some cool concepts, but it barely moves. It just introduces a couple new players, moves some things into place. These last 2 issues could have been one, and I think it would have read a lot better and would have felt more like just kind of put together and less like thrown together like this one does. So yeah, it's a risk ad right there. Anyway, Wolverine 136 is the weakest issue of the Larson run yet. We didn't even get an Eric Larson cover. He didn't even do the script. Eric Stevenson had to jump in. Jeff Matsuda feels like he's running behind. It feels like a rushed, clunky, kind of sloppy issue that doesn't do enough. So that's what I thought. What do you think? I'm still having fun going through the Eric Larson run, but we got 2 more issues in this Great Escape arc, and then he just kind of does some stuff for a few issues leading into Wolverine getting his adamantium back and they switch writers. And it was kind of, it's not a remembered run. And maybe now we're finding out the reason. However, it's always fun to go back to this time period where I think Marvel was doing some solid work. Wolverine 136 may not have hit that mark, but 133 did. Let's see how they wrap this up. We'll continue this on a future episode of Marvel in the 90s. All right, we did it. Yeah, I was just a little let down by that issue, y'all. I think y'all can tell. Was Larson doing Wolverine and Savage Dragon simultaneously, or did he take a break from Savage Dragon? I don't know the answer to that. That would be something interesting to research because I don't know the answer to that. He was also doing Nova at Marvel. He was also doing like a Fantastic Four book. There was a time he was doing Defenders. There was a time where he came back to Marvel. He was doing a few things. And I think he had to, because we're talking about like 98, 99. What are the numbers on Savage Dragon at that point? They got to be incredibly low, right? Introspect says it's got some Sam Keith vibes. It does, without like the grit or the texture. It doesn't have a lot of texture to it. Jeff Matsuda has an angular texture to his work, but it's present in the first book. If you look at the first, like 133 compared to the art here, you can tell that maybe he had some studio mates come in or something. Like it was, especially he did 2 issues in 1 month, the previous 2. So yeah, it's weird. Marvel would do that thing like where like in the summer and certain months they would like double ship certain books. And Metal Elf says the same thing. It's like Sam Keith manga style Wolverine. Yeah, you're right. Keanu says Exquisite Corpses #2 coming out this week, baby. Let's fucking go. Yeah, I've read it and it's a pretty decent issue. So the art's all right. It's not Michael Walsh. Michael Walsh does some of it, but there's another artist. I don't remember who it is, but their work was not quite. It was all right. It got the job done. But the story maintains. You should try to do an interview with Larson. I would love to have Larson. I would love to interview all of the Image founders here. I happen to know a guy who knows Todd, but that's as close as I've gotten to any of these fuckers. So, yeah. I know a couple guys that know Todd. And I've tried to subtly call in those favors. Maybe I need to be more direct. But yeah, I want Todd. I want Eric. I want Rob. I would love Jim. That's impossible. I want Mark. I've met Mark. Mark's super cool. Am I forgetting anybody? Todd, Eric, Rob, Mark. Jim Valentino. I'd like to have Jim Valentino on too. Metal Elf says, the Christopher Priest interview was great. Well, thank you so much. I had a great time. I love Christopher Priest. He's a super cool dude. It was a great conversation. And we talked a little bit after the show about Marvel Knights, The World to Come, and why he didn't really want to address any of the hoopla about it. And I can't tell you what he told me, but I'll tell you that I came out of that show very happy. And out of the backstage conversation, very happy too. Oh, thank you, Dynamite. Thank you, Metal Elf. Thank you for checking out the Christopher Priest interview. Sometimes the creator interviews don't get a lot of views. This one even hasn't gotten a lot of views, but it's done good for a creator interview. So that's cool. There's a lot of Priest love out there, and for good reason. We didn't even get into most of the shit I wanted to talk about, so I can have I can have Priest back anytime and be able to like talk to him for another hour. The dude was super cool. Mostly in this one, we talked about his new Red Sonja book, which sounds really fucking cool, actually. Basically, somebody from the modern day wakes up in Red Sonja's body with none of Red Sonja's skills, like mentally, like they don't know certain things. They're just in Red Sonja's body, and now they are Sonja. They are Red Sonja, and that sounds pretty fucking cool. And we talked about the beginning of Marvel Knights and his Black Panther work, and that was pretty much all that we covered. So there's so much more. Like I want to talk about his Deathstroke run. I want to talk about Superman Lost. I want to talk about Quantum and Woody. I want to talk about hell. I didn't even know he wrote Conan. I didn't even know that. Now I got to get a hold of those Conan books and read them. I didn't even get to talk to him too much about the Spider-Man, Web of Spider-Man days back in the late 80s. Talked a little bit about Jim Shooter and that era of Marvel Comics, so that was cool. From someone who was there in the office, and like his stories, like pizza everywhere, like people just crunching, like cramming, trying to get fucking issues done and shit. It was so cool. That peek into the last time there was probably like an active Marvel bullpen. And, you know, the Marvel bullpen has been very mythologized. That's a word, right? Mythologized. That's a word. And it's cool to hear those stories. I mean, like it started, like you read those old Stan and Jack, Steve and John kind of books, and you get the sense that they're just having fun together, right? And you got that in the 80s too. And now they kayfabe it. It's not, there is no Marvel bullpen, not really anymore. As Priest told us, corporate's taken over. It's all just corporate offices now. There's no creators there. Yeah, Metal. Priest behind the scenes insights were very cool. I didn't know he wrote Conan either. Yeah, me neither. Late into it. All right, it's time for show and tell. I talked about some of the cool Kevin Smith stuff I had, so I wanted to show my Chasing Dogma limited edition hardcover. This is a story. It's the Jay and Silent Bob miniseries by Duncan Fegredo, Kevin Smith, with an introduction by Alanis Morissette. That's fucking crazy, right? It's right around Dogma time. But it's called Chasing Dogma because it's Jay and Silent Bob's journey from chasing Amy into Dogma. It's their quest to go and find Shermer, Illinois, which is a fictional town from John Hughes' world. And that's where it is signed by Kevin Smith, Jason Mewes, and Duncan Fegredo. They're signed and numbered. So I just wanted to show that off. I got that back in the day when it first came out. And it was $69.95. That's funny. It was $69. He's setting up the Sinister 69 joke all the way back in like 2000. Yeah, 2000. All right, pick these trades up because when Gun Honey first came out, I read the first issue, quickly wrote it off, dismissed it. The newest volume of Heat Seeker, which is a spin-off of Gun Honey, came out. I read the first issue and really liked it. So now I got, the first trade of Gun Honey to read and check out, and the first trade of Heat Seeker. So I wanted to get caught up because I really enjoyed that issue. I had a lot of fun with it. It's a book that doesn't take itself too seriously, and I like that. All right, here's a toy I picked up recently. It's a Transformers toy, and honestly, it's one of my favorite Transformers. It's Sea Spray. I got a new, more modern version of him. Sea Spray is a very important figure to me because one of the only actual Transformers I had growing up was Sea Spray. Usually, my grandmother would be like, oh, he wants Transformers, and I would get GoBots, right? So I had a lot of GoBots, but I didn't have many Transformers, not even the small ones, but I had a Sea Spray. And that Sea Spray figure was so important to me. I not too long ago, a few years ago, I guess, I went and got that original Sea Spray action figure just to have again. And then I even got the G2 one, which is all like metallic. But now it's nice to have like a more modern one that will go up there with my modern Transformers collection, which is pretty much my biggest toy collecting thing right now, which is especially modern, is, I don't know, it all started just trying to get all the Seekers, man. And now here I fucking am. All right. I want to share this. When we were watching Money in the Bank, Jelani gave me this. So this is a faker John Cena from his previous heelish days. This is a heel version of John Cena. It's from the Masters of the WWE line, which is like WWE wrestlers mixed with the Motu Masters of the Universe style, right, of action figure. And he gave me this, and of course he comes with a shield and an axe, but he also comes with the word life, Nux. So that's what I got him in right there. So major shout out to Jelani for gifting me this. Do not start an obsession with they don't do them anymore, but the Motu wrestling crossovers, the only one I got was Mr. T. But now I have this one. God damn it. Now I want more. But if it's very important to the lore here at PCP that heel John Cena is in my collection. And that's our show and tell for tonight. Thus is our episode tonight. Thank you all so much for being here. This has been super fun. Super awesome. Thank you for the kind words. And the vegan guy, seriously, I'm sorry if I offended you, brother. I got no offense against, nothing against vegans, but a joke's a joke. And that's a very common joke that I was just using. Whatever, I'm not explaining myself. Anyway, love you all. Hope you have a good one. We're dipping out. Station, pop, pop, boom, all that jazz and more. Join us tomorrow for PCP Movie Night, The Adventures of Ford Fairlane. We got 3 more weeks of Crew's Choice before we hit Action Fest with the Raid and the Raid 2, I Come in Peace, Blade 2, Wanted, Hard Target, a John Woo film, The Chronicles of Riddick, the Terminator franchise, and True Romance. All right, y'all. Love you. Dipping out. Station to the nation. Everybody knows. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the post show. Really happy with this faker John Cena. What do y'all think? When's the face turn starting? He's got to end as a face, right? I'm loving all the work he's doing, though. Call me a Mark, if you will. Speaking of Marks, Mark Transformers, we're going to open up this Ramjet. I finally got a hold of a Ramjet. This is like really the last piece I needed to have like a complete Seeker collection. At least complete enough for me. But I've had a Ramjet G2. So there at least there's that. But yeah, fucking Ramjet. I'm so excited. Why can't I get it open? Oh, there's tape there. All this damn tape. So initially, Ramjet and Dirge were Amazon exclusives or some shit. They were impossible to find. I hated it. I wanted the cone heads. I got a Sandstorm. I got a Thrust. I got some other ones, bullshit ones they've come out with. But to finally have Ramjet, so that I have Thundercracker, Starscream, Skywarp, Ramjet, and Dirge, very, very important. And Thrust. Obviously, it's the same figure I bought before, just with different colors. I don't care. He's finally mine. We're going to get him out of here. Did I get everything? Pull him out of here. Come on, boys. Let's go. Man, he doesn't want to come out of here. He's still connected to something. What is it? There it is. Come on. There we go. We got him out. It's Ramjet. He turns into a jet. His name is Ramjet. That makes sense, doesn't it? Lucy's. Anyway, there he is. Damn, I'm excited. So excited to finally have this asshole in my collection. Finally excited. Super excited to finally have opened him. So there he is. There's Ramjet. Boom, boom, shakalaka. We're not done yet. Check out your IG after the show. All right, I will do. All right. We're doing a taste test. We haven't done a taste test in a while. Goldfish Crackers Limited Edition Old Bay Seasoned. I like Old Bay. I like it on my fish. When I make fish, I use Old Bay. I use it on shrimp when I make shrimp. But it's never something that like I put on much else other than seafood. And I know a lot of people are really big fans. I've never thought about a salty snack seasoned with Old Bay. But fuck, I saw these at the store and I was like, you know what? Let's fucking try them. So I've not tried these yet. I do like Old Bay, but like I said, I like it on my fish and my shrimp. Interesting. So are they still cheese crackers? It doesn't say. It just says the irresistible way to Old Bay is on Goldfish Crackers. Big, bold flavor. Smells, I guess, like Old Bay a little bit. Let's try two. You gotta try two of the little fish, you know. Yep, that's Old Bay. The celery salt. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Celery flavored goldfish crackers. That's what it is. I don't pick up on any cheese. I think it's just Old Bay seasoning. Yep. Okay. All right. Okay. It tastes like a goldfish cracker seasoned with Old Bay. So it gets the job done. You nailed it, 100%. Here's the thing. They're good. They're fine. They're incredibly fucking salty. It's that celery salty Old Bay type thing, right? Very salty. And not something I would munch down. If I don't take this to like a shindig or a get-together, this will just go stale in my pantry because you can have like a few of them, but even right now, like I don't want another one. Because like my mouth, I still taste that ultra salty Old Bay. So it's fine. So it gets the job done. It does exactly what it is. It's Old Bay flavored goldfish crackers. So that's 100% perfectly fine. But does it work as a snack cracker for me? No. Maybe though it would work in something like a dish. Like, I don't know, maybe if you're eating like clam chowder or something, put some in there. I don't know. Maybe what would it be like in some chili? I don't know. I have to experiment. That's what this is for now, to experiment. Okay, I said I didn't want any more. But it does. I like Old Bay. And it's there. But man, it tastes like, you know when someone puts like, they open the wrong end of the Old Bay seasoning thing, and they open up the scoop thing instead of the sprinkle thing, and it just like pours it all out. And you're like, oh shit, it's fucked up. It's all over the fish. That's what it tastes like. It's really powerful. Holy shit. Oh my God. All right. There we go. All right, we are dipping out. I got to go. I got to go drink some water now. All right. We love you. Have a good one, Station. I'll go check my IG, Fable.